and a deep appreciation and significance of my country, which is Ngunnawal land. Thank you very much.
Welcome to country from Mark Bell, Raider number 100, 143 games, including the 1991 Grand Final. Also played at Western Suburbs and Penrith and St George before heading to Wigan. And now it is the former Raider 1989 Grand Final hero, John Chicka Ferguson, who will be leading the Viking horn and the Viking clap. And I'll get to the teams as we wait for that. The Knights, Kalen Ponga, Dom Young, Greg Marju are the wingers. The centres, Dane Gagai and Fletcher Hunt, and the halves are Sandon Smith and Fletcher Sharp. The front row is 10 Trey Mooney and 15 Cody Hopwood. The hooker is 14 Harrison Graham. Jermaine McEwen, Francis Manulele Ua are the second row is Matt Croker, the lock, and the bench is made up of Lachlan Crouch, Thomas Cant, Fletcher Hunt, Brodie Jones, Toby Winter and Diesel Hagen. Their wingers are Jed Stewart and Xavier Savage. The centres, Simi Sasungi, Matt Timokor. The halves, Ethan Strange, Ethan Sanders. The front rowers, Corey Horsburgh, Joey Tarpany. The hooker, 14, Tom Starling. Zach Hosking and Arthur Mariota. The second rowers, Morgan Smithies is the lock forward. The bench is made up of number 9, Owen Paddy, Joe Roddy, Josh Papali'i, Dane Laurie, Civilio Tamale and Matty Nicholson. The referee is Ash Klein. The touchies are John Stone and Tom Camborne. Chris Butler is in the bunker, and we'll get down to James Sullivan in just a moment. We've got kickoff just about to happen, so we might not be able to get down to Sully until a few sets into this one. But Tungy, we are really excited for this one, and the Raiders are going to be defending first as Newcastle bring the ball back through Trey Mooney. First hit up of the afternoon. The Newcastle Knights in their traditional red and blue stripes, running towards the northern end of Canberra Stadium, or the right-hand side of your radio, running from right to left of your radio. So they're played 20 metres away from the line, and Graham at dummy half goes right. 3 Raiders players, good defending there, muscling up to stop over on the far side, starting in number 15, Cody Hopwood, in that switcheroo with 300-man Tyson Frizzell. They're 27 away from their line. They come left, one off the ruck, and Matt Croker is 35 away centre field. Final play in that first set of this match between the Raiders and the Knights. Kicking from just outside the 30-metre line, or the 300-metre line this afternoon, is Sandon Smith, and it is a good return as well from Kyo Weeks. He'll be able to start this set in pretty good position for the Raiders, only 13 short of the halfway line. So Starling at dummy half, starting in number 15. He goes one off the ruck right-hand side, and the Raiders are only 8 metres short of the halfway line in centre field as Stewart gets up and plays it. They continue one off the ruck now, and only a metre short, in fact, right on that halfway stripe, and good post-contact metres. Finding himself inside Newcastle territory is Simi Sasungi, of course, playing against his former club. No tries in 16 matches for the Knights. Sasungi, and the Knights are defending 30 metres away from their own line as the Raiders come back on the inside, changing direction for that's Arthur Mariota on the 30-metre line. Final play for the Raiders, their first use of the football this afternoon. Starling goes left, and Sanders will kick a high one up in the air. The Bombers, Ponga waits for it, but in the end it's well taken by Fletcher Hunt, and he'll start this set for the Newcastle Knights. 12 away from his line. There's no score after 2.
Yeah, both teams, pretty simple start to the game, but in these conditions, that's what you need to do. I think we're going to see a lot of probably, 1 or 2 passes off the ruck. They're turning players back underneath, the subtle change there just to try and, cause a little bit of havoc to that defensive line, but both teams off to a good start.
The birthday boy, Dom Young, plays at 30 away from his own line, 25 today, and shares his birthday with Bradman Best. Not in the side this afternoon, but I'm sure they'll be celebrating with a piece of cake or two after the game as they go left. Manulele Ua breaks the tackle. He's over the 40-30. He's got support. Fletcher Sharp, they won't catch him. He's going to score next to the post. What a run that is from Francis Manulele Ua. Just breaks the Raiders line wide open. Canberra and Ricky Stewart will be disappointed with the defending, but that is a man mountain flying through to set up Fletcher Sharp next to the sticks. 3 minutes gone. It is Newcastle 4 leading the Raiders 0.
Well, as you mentioned there, it just looked all too easy. Menulele Ua, you spoke about that. It's just a simple little pass. Some footwork back on the inside. I think it was Corey Horsburgh, the man that he went through. Then the pass there to Fletcher Sharp. Great support play. Just a little bit of footwork back off his left foot. Yep, beaten Corey Horsburgh, but Joe Tarpany had a shot at him as well and slipped off. Just shows the strength of the edge back rower as he goes through. Sharp backing up on his outside. Nice little pass. A little bit of a question mark whether it was in line or maybe forward there, but I'm okay with that. Runs around, scores the opening points. That's too easy for the Knights, but great work from the big back rower.
He just changed direction and went back towards the middle, back towards the ruck, and it opened up. James Sullivan on the touchline. What a start for Newcastle.
Hello, Glenn listeners and Alan. Yeah, mate, I'll tell you what, the man they call Frankie, Manu Lelelua, as you mentioned, this is his 9th NRL game, and people are now starting to just realise how good a footballer he is. As you said, he just gets on the edge of the ruck, and he has got speed.
Came through the Panthers at junior rep level as Sandon Smith adds the extras from virtually right in front, makes it 6 points to 0. Thank you, Sully. Sandra down on the sideline as you were coined on the text line a couple of weeks ago against South Sydney, and Andrew Moore, the nickname boss, is happy for that one to stick. So Newcastle 6 leading the Raiders 0 around the grounds in the AFL, just up the road at Manuka Oval actually. Gold Coast leading GWS 28-18, and in New South Wales Cup there's a game kicking off at 2:45. NRLW first half, St George Illawarra leading West Tigers 8 points to 0. Jersey Flegg second half, Roosters 24, Bulldogs 14, and the Storm trailing Manly 20 points to 12. 0467 920 222. Warren from Blacktown's tipping Newcastle by 14. Have a good call. Thank you, Warren. As the play is back underway, and once again it is a strong run from Trey Mooney up towards the 10-metre line. We'll start this set for Newcastle leading 6 points to 0. The try to Fletcher Sharp. They play the ball and go one off the ruck right-hand side. Marju has it now about 15 away from his line centre field. Getting up and playing the ball. 19 tries this season for Greg Marju. They go to the right-hand side and they can't quite get the ball away, and so McEwen is brought to ground 21 away from the line. They come back left now. They split almost again, and Matt Croker is just about brought down by Atamari Otta. That was almost similar to the first try as they spin it left now. They get all the way out to Fletcher Hunt. Comes back off the left foot. Keeps going Fletcher Hunt across crabbing the field, and the Canberra Raiders finally stop him 5 metres inside Canberra territory. Newcastle getting plenty of space to run in so far as Sandon Smith kicks towards the corner, and it's gone out over the touchline about a metre short of the goal line. So a good kick from Sandon Smith, and the Raiders will have to start this set with a play the ball 10 away from their own goal line. With 5 minutes gone, it's Newcastle 6, the Raiders 0.
Well, if you're a Knights fan, you're actually really liking what they're doing. Just some short passing, some small footwork there is just creating enough havoc there for the Raiders' defensive line and slipping off tackles for the Raiders. Well, Ricky Stewart to be filthy. They want them to get their shoulders in the tackle and start much better than they have.
Simi Sasangi 21 away from his own goal line, 10 in from the western touchline plays it as the Raiders have to do the hard yards away from their own end. They're on the 30-metre line at the northern end of the field, and they play the ball 20 in from the touchline through Timacor. Continuing through the middle is Tarpany, and he takes 3 or 4 Newcastle players with him before playing the ball about 8 short of the halfway line. He loses the ball and he gets a penalty. There we go. So it was a lost ball by Tarpany, but Cody Hopwood was too slow getting up. So the Raiders get away with one there, and Newcastle are going to think about challenging. No, they were giving 6 again as he lost the ball. So because he lost the ball, couldn't go the 6 again, and they get the penalty.
I tell you, they dodge a bullet there because he did fumble that football. Yes, there was some, hands are slowing that ruck down, but some really good field position here now for the Raiders.
Yeah, so as Ashley Klein was just explaining, it was going to be 6 again. So that would have been play 0, but because he lost the ball, there's no advantage and they get the penalty. So 27 away from Newcastle's line as they go through the middle. It's a strong run there by Big Red Corey Horsburgh. 21 away centre field. Starling's waiting at dummy half to come back right, and one off the ruck goes Morgan Smithies, the Englishman, heading off to Perth next year, but he has green and black on today. The Raiders' Indigenous jersey, playing the ball for Starling, left-hand side Sanders, back on the inside for Hosking, and Zach Hosking's 5 away from the line, adjacent to the left upright. 7 gone, they trail by 6, the Raiders. They come right. Quick hands, it goes to Sanders and Mariotta towards the line. He's just short. Good defending there. Fletcher Sharp and one other. A metre away from the line. Playing the ball for Starling. Short Tarpany. Can he get over? He's held up, or is he just short? It's the final play. Short of the line. Changeover. About 30 centimetres away from the goal line. Let's get down to the touchline. James Sullivan.
I'll just give you that weather report for the listeners, guys. It's actually, to be totally honest, it's still. It's beautiful conditions, just with light rain at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if the low kicks used a fair bit in this one.
Yeah, really slippery conditions out there. We've had an NRLW game already. Canberra beating Brisbane 28 points to 4, and now Newcastle get a penalty there. Ashley Klein not happy with the market.
But you already got involved there.
Yeah, market position, and you hear him there telling Utta Mariotta he already got involved. So Newcastle now get the penalty 25 away from their line, leading 6-0, Tungy.
Yeah, well, the discipline is going to be super important here this afternoon because, metres are going to be hard to get in these sort of conditions, and to let them off the hook like that gives them a really great start. They're going to start about on the halfway line here, the Newcastle Knights. Utta Mariotta, Ashley Klein, he called him out, but he just got involved in the tackle just enough to give away the penalty.
So Trey Mooney plays it on 7 inside Canberra territory. They go right, Sandon Smith goes to the line, then Ponga. Here's Dane Gagai, tries to find a way through. 29 away from Canberra's line, 8 in from the eastern touchline. He gets up and plays the ball. Graham comes at first receiver, waiting for it from the pass of Sandon Smith. Continuing on for Sharp, and now Fletcher Hunt. And Fletcher Hunt's held up in the tackle before being put to ground, 31 away from the goal line. So a little bit left and right there for the Newcastle Knights. Couldn't find a way through. Ponga changes direction for Trey Mooney, and Mooney thinks about the offload, but he takes the tackle 30 away from the line. So they're not making too many yards at the moment, Newcastle, as Fletcher Sharp goes left for Manalele Ua, and he's about 15 short of the line for the Newcastle Knights, and 16 in from the western touchline. Plays the ball for Graham. Smith will kick across field. Dom Young coming through. So too Dane Gagai. Bats it backwards, does Gagai. Still the last for Newcastle. Picked up at 6 again. It's touched by Canberra. Passed back there by Cody Hopwood after a touch by the Raiders. So Newcastle get a full set. 12 away from Canberra's line. They go to the right. Sandon Smith changes direction back on the inside, and they have the ball about 8 metres away through Jermaine McEwen. He'll play the ball for Smith. Left-hand side Graham to Smith, and then they go left, and finally Trey Mooney is 5 away from the goal line and 20 in from the western touchline. Graham now at dummy half, comes back right. Sharp's waiting for it. Now it goes to Smith and Ponga. Ponga shows. Gagai changes direction, comes back across field, and he takes the tackle 10 away from the line, right in front of the sticks at the northern end of Canberra Stadium. 10 minutes gone. Newcastle 6-0. They come to the left through Sharp. Changes direction for Greg Marju now. Goes to find a way through. 8 tries in 8 games against the Raiders, Marju. Plays the ball 5 short of the line. Graham dummies. Thinks about going himself. Gets the pass away. Croker now to Smith. Smith gets it away to Ponga. Ponga ball over the top for Dom Young to the corner and scores. Does really well to turn his body and get the ball down close to that touching goal line, and the corner flag in the northeastern corner. Really good strength from the Englishman. He looked like he was going over, but he just turns the body and plants it. Newcastle 10, the Raiders 0, just over 10 gone, and that's Dom Young's 18th of the season, the birthday boy.
Yeah, well, they got the 6 again, and they're just having a look at that now, but it's come off, I think, Timokor, the man that gave them the 6 again. They go back to this right-hand side. A little bit of razzle-dazzle in through the middle there. Had plenty of work to do. You can hear Ashley Klein on the run. It's a defensive decision when Timokor actually comes in. It looks like, they can't take that away from him at the moment. He made that decision, came in on the player. He's run through the line. Ponga sees space on the outside. Dom Young still had some work to do, as you mentioned. He's so big and strong. And Kyle Wicks, he did his best to try and hold him up. But the big Englishman, he plants the footy down out wide. 2 tries here to the Knights early. They are looking good.
That's 4 tries in 5 games now for Dom Young, and a nice way to celebrate his birthday. Touchline, James Sullivan.
It's become a happy hunting ground. Canberra Stadium, hasn't it? For birthday boys, Tungy, as you know, Dane Laurie grabbed 3 a couple of weeks ago. Now Dom Young kicks it off nicely.
Well, Dom Young scored a double against the Raiders back in round 5. That's 8 tries in his last 10 games. You're forgiven for saying Perth, Sully, because I know it's been a big weekend for you, of course, yesterday with the Manly-Melbourne game with Spriggy and Matty Elliott. So, racking up the frequent flyers this weekend as Smith from the touchline. Beautiful kick. Adds the extras. So it is 12 points to 0. It just scraped in there. And the Newcastle Knights, 12 points to 10 leaders over the Canberra Raiders. 0467 920 222. Happy Sunday, Glenn, James and Alan. Having fun in Canberra. Enjoy commentating. Thanks, Dion. Thank you. I know it's unlikely, but by being on the extended bench, Tyson Frizzell may not actually play 300. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Tom from Lutwich. Appreciate your text message on 0467 920 222. Hi, Glenn, Raiders to win, says Dave in Nowra. Appreciate that text message as well as we get back underway at Canberra Stadium in the NRLW. 8-all St George Illawarra and the West Tigers, says the Newcastle Knights. Good collision. Cody Hopwood, I think it might have been Corey Horsburgh who whacked him there. Ata Mariota was involved as well. And now Greg Marju has the ball 15 away from his own goal line. Heavy contact there. Hopwood gets up okay though. And now Marju on the next play plays at 15 away. They go to the open side right. And Newcastle still trapped inside their own 20-metre zone. They get up and play it through Mooney. Continuing right for Smith. Gets it away to Ponga. And Ponga's wrapped up one-on-one. And then he gets a bit of help, the defender there from Tom Starling. And Horsburgh gets involved as well to help Matt Timokor out. They come to the right, the left now. One off the ruck. And Trey Mooney is 31 away centre field. Final play for the Newcastle Knights, leading 12 points to 0. Sandon Smith kicks from his own 30-metre line. Ed Stewart will take it on the full, 20 away from the goal line and run back towards the centre of the field. He make it up to the 30 and he's brought to ground by a good Newcastle chase. So he'll start this set 30 away from his own goal line. 13 minutes gone in the nation's capital. Of course, the second game of NRL Sunday on ABC Sport will be from Cogra between the St George Illawarra Dragons and the Cronulla Sharks with Andrew Moore, Luke Lewis and Ryan Hoffman up from Melbourne for the weekend. So keep listening to ABC Sport all afternoon because there is plenty of footy still to come, and the Canberra Raiders are 5 metres inside Newcastle territory through Tarpany. Left-hand side, Ethan Strange changes direction for Hosking, and Hosking 13 metres inside Newcastle territory. He plays the ball for Starling, takes a couple of steps out of dummy half, goes short to Strange, then they come back right. It goes from Horsburgh to Tarpany. Now when it goes to Kyo Weeks after Mariota, Simi Sasungi will grub it towards the in goal, but Kalen Ponga is there to pick it up, and he's about a metre away from his own goal line, trapped in that southwestern corner. 14 minutes gone. Newcastle 12, Canberra 0.
Yeah, it was a pretty good end of the set, and look at them defensively. They're really trying to rip it now. They force that back in goal. They won't. Ashley Klein says they're still in the field of play. There's some good work there from Simi Sasungi. He's had some really nice touches coming back from that injury last week.
Yeah, they're muscling up again here as well. Joey Tarpany leading the charge. 2 metres away from the line. Dom Young is ruled to surrender, so Canberra have a little bit more time to get off. And still on play 4, only 10 metres away from their own goal line. Fletcher Hunt, they think Canberra are a little offside there. They're throwing the ball around, trying to get away from their own end. Kalen Ponga is still only 12 away, and it's the final play. He loses the ball, but on the last play, Canberra give away a penalty for a hand on the ruck, and they're thinking about challenging, are they?
I think they will.
Joe Tarpany's going over to the referee, and now they will. Alan Tongue.
It's different. Okay, we got a captain's challenge here. On-field ruling is ruck interference. Matt Timoko comes back, makes a secondary movement.
So they're saying, the Raiders are saying loose carry, Tungy.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it doesn't look like it's a strip, like when he getting there and really trying to rake that football out. Yes, there is some movement going back in as he goes to play the ball. We'll just have to have another closer look at that. It's Kalen Ponga. He gets just on the outside of Ethan Strange. Just gets through that. Timakor's got his wraps the footy up there. There are some hands around the ball there. Oh, I don't know if you can call that. I think this might be a successful challenge here for the Raiders.
Yeah, I think that's loose. James Sullivan, touchline, what say you?
Yeah, an interesting decision. You can just see Timoko with his hands just there. He's having a good look. I tell you what, though, the big thing for me, this opening 15 minutes, we talk about possession's key. 71% of the footy
Timoko is just deflecting a tackle. He's got his arms locked around Kalen Ponga. It's a loose carry from Kalen.
Yep.
Captain's challenge is successful.
Yeah, effective, and that's a big challenge as well on the last tackle, 15 away from Newcastle's goal line.
Yeah, a big set defensively. They ripped in. They noticed. They knew they had that awareness there. They really shortened their lineup and really ripped in. They've got it in some good field positioning now. Now they need to put some points on the board.
And just mentioning, of course, off to Cogra after that, 3 games of footy this afternoon from the Sydney Football Stadium. Declan Byrne, Jada Taylor and Dean Hallertau on the call of the Roosters and Parramatta in the NRLW. Canberra have got the scrum feed. They go to the right and they play the ball, then come back left. Corey Horsburgh, he's 1.5 metres away from the goal line at the southern end, held up in the tackle. He'll play the ball for Starling, comes back right. Sanders changes direction for Mariotta, and Mariotta goes towards the line. 3 Newcastle players trying to keep him out. Oh, did that ball maybe touch the white stripe there? He gets up and plays it. There's no real protestation, and they continue on. Left-hand side, Sanders wrapped up by 2 Newcastle players, 9 short of the goal line. He'll get up and play the ball for Starling. He looks to his right and he goes to his right. Tarpany goes to the line, gets it away to Kaio Weeks. They might not be able to stop him. Close to the line, Kaio is on. Great tackle. Fletcher Sharp in cover, 1 centimetre away. They come left. Starling for Sanders, will kick across field left. Jed Stewart, the target, goes high. Dom Young's there, gets it on the second grab, and he'll take the tackle 5 away from the line. So Newcastle avoid a try there after that kick across field. Dom Young just a little too tall for Jed Stewart.
Yeah, well, there's some tall timber. Certainly out that way, we're going to see plenty of high balls going in their direction. But what about the tackle from Sharp? Kaio Weeks looks like he was over for all money, but great strength, a try saver on this western side.
The voice of Alan Tongue, Glenn Lauder, James Sullivan on the sideline. Newcastle 12, Canberra 0. 16 minutes gone in the nation's capital. And Newcastle have the ball 20 away from their own goal line through Fletcher Hunt. Plays the ball for Harrison Graham, goes right, and Matt Croker has the ball 25 away from the line. And now the Raiders do give a penalty away for a high shot. Morgan Smithies is the man, and he shakes his head as he walks away. Another penalty for Newcastle in their own end, 25 away from the line, Tongue.
Yeah, it's just one of those tackles. There's no malice in it whatsoever. It's actually Tom Starling chops him around the legs and he's falling down. Yep, it's a penalty. Yep, it's given there, but really unfortunate because it's let them right off the hook once again. We spoke about that little penalty before to Arta Mariotta. They were starting on the 50-metre line. Now it's about 45 out, and they scored points last time. See what they can do here now, Newcastle.
He was falling down, wasn't he? And Morgan Smithies didn't have much choice, unfortunately, as that arm came across. He copped him in the head. But Newcastle now through Trey Mooney, 4 metres inside Canberra's territory. He'll get up and play the ball for Graham. Goes right. Sandon Smith's waiting for it. Now Gagai crabs back into the middle of the park. Still going, Gagai. Tries to find a way through. Mariotta closes the gap along with Corey Horsburgh. And he's held up in the tackle, 11 inside Canberra territory. Scooting is Graham. Left he goes for Sharp. Sharp thinks about passing, but he runs straight into Ethan Sanders. Can't get the ball away. And he's tackled 27 out from Canberra's line with a 12-0 lead. Playing the ball for Graham. Right-hand side for Sandon Smith. Goes to the line, gets it away to Ponga. Ball over the top. This will be intercepted by Jed Stewart. I'd say just about shut the gate. Greg Marju's on his toes trying to fly across. Stewart runs towards Marju to cut the angle down. Marju slips over, and now it's left to Matt Croker to do the chasing, and the big middle player won't get there. Jed Stewart races away and scores the try. It's Canberra's first of the afternoon. It's Stewart's 5th of the season. Newcastle 12, Canberra 4 with a kick to come. 18 minutes gone.
Well, it was Kalen Ponga on the right-hand side. He was attacking down the other end of the field. He looked to have the beat. The pass just needed to hit the money. Dom Young was in the clear, and then all of a sudden Jed Stewart picks that ball and plucks it out of the air and runs out. I thought he was I was thinking, why isn't he running away from Marju? And all of a sudden he comes back on the inside. Plenty of work to do, but he shows a good turn of speed there, Jed Stewart. And didn't they need that, the Raiders? The Knights were breathing heavy, coming down at them down the other end of the field, and then all of a sudden the intercept, and Jed Stewart gets it. First points on the board. A much needed try for the Green Machine.
Yeah, he was giving Marju so much less ground to cover, but then Marju slipped over anyway. Touchline, James Sullivan.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I tell you what, if Jed Stewart doesn't pluck that out of the air, Young scores, as you said, and then the in and out. Beautiful on Marju.
So the Newcastle Knights have given up their first try of the afternoon. Jed Stewart, 3 in his last 3 games. Double last week against the West Tigers. Coming in, of course, for Sevilio Tamale a couple of weeks ago. And gives the Raiders some life with just under a quarter of this game gone. Ethan Sanders
120, time off, Ethan.
waiting to take the conversion from 20 in from the western touchline.
Yeah, it's really important, Jed Stewart and also Xavier Savage. They've got a really big job today. Their positioning defensively is super important. Marju and Dom Young, they do a wonderful job, the Newcastle Knights, just to get that little bit of space. They've got speed, they've got strength, they've got size out wide. So it's a really big job, their positioning. On that occasion, you got a perfect and an intercept on the back of it.
Sanders makes no mistake. It's 12 points to 6 after a quarter of this game. I just mentioned that NRLW game at 6:15 between the Roosters and the Parramatta Eels. They're taking that one up to Gosford, of course. So that one's at Central Coast Stadium, not at the Sydney Football Stadium. If you're looking to attend that one, 0467 920 222 in Jersey Flegg, full time. Bulldogs over the Roosters 28-24. Second half, Manly and Melbourne locked at 24-all, and the Dragons leading the Sharks 16-0. NRLW, it's half time between the West Tigers and the Dragons. The Tigers leading 10 points to 8. Queensland Cup half-time, Townsville 24 leading South Logan 0. No score early in the first half, Western Clydesdales and Tweed Seagulls, with GWS trailing the Gold Coast 35-25 at Manuka. Canberra have the ball 13 metres away from their own goal line through Horsburgh. First set after points, the first try of the afternoon to Jed Stewart. Left-hand side they go, and Sasungi has the ball 18 away from his line centre field. Starling comes back right. Tarpany has the ball through the centre of the park. Good strong run, good post contact as well. Makes about 6 or 7 more metres. He's brought to ground 30 away from the line. Starling scooting out at dummy half. Dummies goes himself, makes about 10 metres, and he's brought to ground 10 short of the halfway line. Playing it again. Weeks finds himself at dummy half, gets it away to Ata Mariotta, and Mariotta is a metre inside Newcastle territory on the last. Starling gets back into dummy half, 15 in from the western touchline. Sanders puts the kick up from just inside his own territory, and waiting for it is Ponga, 15 away from his own goal line, takes it comfortably and returns it up almost to the 30-metre line with a 12 points to 6 lead, and just over a quarter of this one gone, Tungy.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Ooh, sorry about that. Just a high shot there. No, he slipped into the tackle. Just keeping an eye on that. No, there's a bit of push and shove here. Hang about.
They're going to come in. Yeah, they're going to come in here. So Marju's still on the ground after that high shot. They're coming in from everywhere. Push and shove. Ashley Klein's telling him to untangle, and it's going to be a play the ball. Newcastle weren't happy with the contact. Ashley Klein is saying still there's no penalty. It's going to be tackle for and nothing wrong with the high shot, but Marju is getting treatment from the trainer there across the chops.
I wonder if they'll just have a look here at the bar. I mean, he is slipping. There's not much he can do, but there might have been some contact there. Push and shove. Ashley Klein, he's happy to move it on. Just looking at a couple of key stats here at the moment. Possession, 65% in favour of the Newcastle Knights. But one area in particular, 13 tackle breaks Newcastle have made to the Raiders, only one.
Yeah, that'll be a big talking point for Ricky at half-time defensively as they play the ball 7 short of halfway, Newcastle. They go to the left-hand side. Sharp gets it away to Ponga. They've got numbers here. Fletcher Hunt draws in the winger in Xavier Savage, gets it away, but Marju can't hold on to it. Savage actually does really well to recover after being drawn in because he gets back across and forces Marju to lose the ball and go over the touchline. That is good stuff from Xavier Savage after being caught 2-on-1. 12 points to 6, Newcastle lead Canberra after 21 minutes. Tom.
Yeah, I was speaking about that positioning from the wingers, just super important, and that was perfect there from Xavier Savage. In these conditions, your sidelines almost like an extra defender, and he just showed Marju enough there, came in, ball bobble 3, but all of a sudden, who's there to clean up the scraps? Big front rower in Joe Tarpany. Amazing work once again by the big man.
So they feed the scrum, the Raiders, 30 away from the line, the 300-metre line this afternoon in honour of Tyson Frizzell. Hasn't got on the park just yet, but if he does, and when he does, he'll be 58th player to join the 300 club in the NRL. Zach Hosking has it for the Canberra Raiders, 3 short of the halfway line. Plays the ball for Starling. Left-hand side he goes for Ethan Sanders. Ethan Strange, I beg your pardon. It's Sanders, Strange, Sharp and Smith, all the S's, as our tech Aaron has told us before the game in the halves. So a good one for me this afternoon. Here is Strange now. Right-hand side he goes Horsburgh, and Horsburgh is 10 inside Newcastle territory in centre field. To get up and play the ball for Starling now as he comes to the right, gets it away to Tarpany. Tarpany takes it to the line. It's Norgan Smithies ran the decoy line, but he didn't get the ball, and Sanders ends up with it. 30 away from the line. Final play for the Raiders, and up it goes from Kyo Weeks. There's plenty of players in there. Ponga can't hold on to it. It's gone forward off Ponga, and it'll be 6 again here. Sanders for the Raiders, 21 away from Newcastle's line. Gets it away to Timokor, long ball over the top, and Timokor is 10 short of the goal line at the southern end of Canberra Stadium, trailing 12 points to 6. They come right. Sanders changes direction. Tarpany through the middle. Can't find a way through. 6 away from the line. Gets a quick play the ball. Starling quickly out of dummy half. Goes left. And they might get over here. The Canberra Raiders. Is it Morgan? It's Zach Hosking scores the try over on the left-hand side. It was really good work out of dummy half from Starling to get a quick play the ball, and Hosking was running onto it at full speed and dives over close to the line under a mountain of Newcastle players, and they are back to within a conversion. They can level it up. It's 12 points to 10 with 17 to go first half.
Yeah, I thought there might have been a couple of question marks on whether they deserved the 6 again there, the Raiders, but in saying that, they've got it, they've played on, and it's gone on a really strong carry from that man in the middle that we just spoke about in Joe Tarpany. That got the ruck speed in and around there. He just quickly picked it up in Tommy Starling. Zach Hosting burst onto the football. We'll just have a check of the put down, but great lead-up work there from the big Joe Tarpany, creating that momentum.
Well, after conceding the first true, James Sullivan down on the touchline, the Raiders are back.
They are, Glenn, and I tell you what for me started it, because on the ground it just felt they started so slowly. There was no talk. Those 2 big defensive sets before the intercept try, and all of a sudden it's woke them up.
Now, I'm just wondering, has it been confirmed or are they still looking at this one? Harrison Graham gets his arm underneath the ball. I think the ball does touch the white stripe there. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Try confirmed. There was a bit of a worry there for Raiders fans, but the bunker has confirmed that try stands. Harrison Graham almost did enough to get his arm under that ball, but Zach Hosking scores the try, his 5th of the season. Of course, that hat-trick against the Bulldogs a few weeks ago. 0467 920 222. Go Raiders and Sharks to get a perfect round. Listening in Bondi from Louise, working at the City to Surf. Thanks, Louise. Appreciate your text message, and good on you for helping out all the runners today in the City to Surf. And congratulations to everyone who's made the trek from Hyde Park across to Bondi. 2005 was my only ever attempt at that. Didn't go overly well, but we got there in the end. We made it to Bondi Beach. Ethan Sanders, 18 metres in from the eastern touchline, moves in and hits this one. Perfect again, so we're locked up at 12 points apiece, 15 to go in the first half. A few more text messages coming through. Listening in bed, that sounds nice. Crowd size, please. Yeah, not great. Obviously, we've mentioned the rain a few times. What do you think about just under 10, maybe 8 or 9?
Yeah, and it's probably a little bit hard too, because I think they've let a lot of the crowd coming up under a bit of the grandstands. We can't see behind us too much, but certainly not as big crowd. They've been getting close to that 20,000, but if we get the 10 there today, I think they'll be great.
And on all the S's in the halves, Glenn in Lismore points out the halves for the 2004 grand final were Brent, Braith, Brad and Brett. Thank you very much for that one. Yeah, appreciate that one, as the Canberra Raiders have it through Horsburgh now, 11 metres away from the goal line. Rooster Ron in Foster asks, and the on-field ref overrule the bunker? No, they can't. Once the bunker makes the decision is made. Thank you for that one, Ron. And the Raiders through Tarpany, 20 metres away from the line, as Horsburgh goes on a straight run up towards the 30, as he's brought to ground in centre field at 12 points all. The Raiders and the Newcastle Knights. Next, as I mentioned, off to Cogra for the Dragons and the Sharks, and then later on tonight it is the Roosters and Parramatta in NRLW from Gosford, as Simi Sasangi's met in a strong tackle but gets the offload away, and Kyo Weeks straightens and goes over the halfway line. He's 8 metres inside Newcastle territory on the last. Plays the ball for Starling, left-hand side for Sanders, and Sanders puts up a high spiralling bomb here. Ponga does really well for a player of his quality, gets down on one knee and takes that comfortably under pressure. Plenty of fullbacks wouldn't have managed that, but Kalen Ponga shows he is one of the best in the game, if not the best, and it's 12 points all with 14 minutes to go first half.
Yeah, really, really great take, as Tyson Frizzell comes on the field just below that 300-metre line there, but comes on to play throughout the game. Here's his first touch.
Here he comes, Tyson Frizzell, the milestone man, gets met in a good strong tackle, 35 away from his own goal line, and wins 6 again for his team. Too slow to get off Tyson Frizzell there. Maybe they wanted to give him a few congratulatory remarks as they go right, and Dom Young gets the pass from Dane Gagai back on the inside. Ponga, they'll go all the way and score here. It started inside their own 40-metre line, and they've gone 60-plus metres to score. The outside backs on the right-hand side for Newcastle, linking up again, Young and Gagai, and in the end, it's Ponga who scores for the Newcastle Knights. 15 in from the eastern touchline after giving up that 12 points to nil lead. They are back in front, 16-12 with a kick to come, 13 to go first half.
Yeah, I mentioned Savage did a wonderful job. Just his positioning on this side of the field here before when he put Marju, when he came up with that error on this occasion. Jed Stewart just too tight, gave too much room on the outside for Dom Young. You just give him a little bit, half a yard too much space, and he's so quick and strong. He's got that big fend as well on that occasion. Gets on the outside of Jed Stewart. Great work from Kalen Ponga, who took that unbelievable catch from an Ethan Sanders floater down the other end of the field and then scores, and all of a sudden the momentum that was all in the Raiders' favour, it's completely shifted once again, and it's back with the Newcastle Knights.
4 tries in 4 games now for Kalen Ponga. Touchline, James Sullivan.
Yeah, they've been intent on going down that right edge as well. Kalen Ponga is looking for Dom Young every opportunity he can get.
Half-time NRLW, West Tigers leading the Dragons 10 points to 8 in Jersey Flegg. The Bulldogs have beaten the Roosters 28-24. All square Manly and Melbourne 24 apiece late in the game, and the Dragons leading the Sharks 16-0, 0-4-6-7, 9-2-0, 2-2. Carlos from Canberra. Bad timing to have both AFL and NRL on the same time in town. Doubt anyone to be at Manuka. I haven't seen the crowd size over at Manuka, but I'm sure they've got plenty of supporters, and a lot of GWS fans would have made the trek down as well. So I'm sure it's well populated. As the kick from Smith is good, just inside the post again. So both goal kickers pinpoint perfect so far this afternoon. He is 3 from 3, and unfortunately the only thing about today, not only having both games on at the same time, but also the rain not making it the nicest winter's day in the nation's capital. As a Knight, I love Horsburgh, as you would have read at its steps. Thank you very much for that text message. Mad keen Raiders fans, Wayne and Kerry cheering the Raiders home over Brekkie in Helsinki. I hope you're having a great time in the northern summer. Appreciate that, Wayne and Kerry. And Boy Trucker dislikes both teams and hope they both lose. But he's still enjoying the call. So thank you, Boy Trucker. As Newcastle have the ball now through Fletcher, on the field, Lachlan Crouch, who takes the tackle 15 away from his own goal line. Now they go one off the ruck right-hand side for Marju, and Marju has it 25 away in centre field. 18 points to 12, the Knights lead.
Greg, stand where you're playing.
And you can hear Ash Klein just telling Greg Marju to get back on the mark where he tried to sneak away. They go right. Here's Jermaine McEwen, 31 away from the goal line, 20 in from the eastern touchline. Back left, one off the right goes Frizzell. Game 300. He's 7 away from halfway. Left-hand side, Graham out of dummy half goes to Croker. Then it goes to Sharp. Good run on the angle again. Manulele Ua, really similar to the first try. This time he is tackled. Someone's lost a boot. It was Manulele Ua. And now they go left, and Sandon Smith puts the kick towards the corner. Weeks will take it in the in goal and get a 20-metre restart with Newcastle leading 18-12 and 11 to go in the first half.
Yeah, talking about sporting Canberra as well. The Canberra Brave, the ice hockey are playing as well just after this game. So there's plenty going on in the nation's capital, but there's also plenty going on Canberra Stadium here as well. There's plenty of feeling. The edge back rowers here really going at Arta Mariota and Menu Lela. Yeah, so I've got it there, sorry. But I tell you what, they're having a really good battle. Mariota usually plays in the middle, but he's doing a big job up against his opposite man.
Well, Manulele Ua hasn't got a left boot at the moment. In fact, he's only got a left boot at the moment because he's lost the right one and he couldn't be bothered trying to get it back on. The trainers are trying to undo the shoelaces.
Take the tape off.
So he can get it back on. He's defending with one boot. The Raiders go left-hand side and they're 10 inside Newcastle territory. 15 in from the eastern touchline. Getting up and playing it for Tomoko. Coming right now. Here's Sanders. Gets it away to Smithies. On it goes now to Sasangi. There's plenty of S's in this Raiders side. And Sasangi plays the ball 10 in from the western touchline. He'll get up and play the ball for Owen Paddy's on the field now for the Raiders. And Starling going off. So that's one less S at least. Here's Joe Roddy now. 29 away in centre field on the final play. They come right. Sanders waiting for it at first receiver. Puts the high kick up in the air. Fletcher Hunt waiting for it. But Savage picks his pocket. Still the last for the Raiders. Mariota tries to get the pass away, loses it as he does so, and Newcastle ultimately picked the ball up on play one through Fletcher Hunt. Manulele Ua has the boot back now.
They're trying to come straight to his side, put a bit of footwork on him as well. He's done well with only the one boot.
He's just doing the shoelaces up now. So Manulele Ua back with two boots on, which is good news as Newcastle. Oh, they lose the ball. Sandon Smith drops it absolutely as cold as you like. 20 away from his own goal line. Good opportunity here for the Raiders. Matt Timokor is 19 metres away. There's 9 minutes to go in the first half. Newcastle leading Canberra 18 points to 12. Timokor plays the ball for Paddy. Right-hand side he goes for Smithies. Goes towards the line. Morgan Smithies is 8 metres away centre field. He'll play the ball. Paddy looks right. That's the way he goes. Sanders waiting for it. Shows, then gets the pass away to Weeks after getting whacked on the way through. Kyo Weeks is still going. And Weeks is still getting the ball away now to Owen Paddy after Newcastle just couldn't wrap it up. They continue left. Here's Ethan Strange cutting off the left foot, cutting back off the right foot, now back off the left foot. He's stepping his way everywhere, but he was not really going too far. And he takes the tackle 16 away from the goal line in centre field. Owen Paddy comes left out of dummy half. Sanders is waiting for it, changes direction, and now it is a big Josh Papali'i, 10 away from the goal line, 20 in from the eastern touch line. They come right now through the hands. Sanders gets it away out the back to Weeks and Simi Sasangi to line. Flick pass out the back. Strange can't, Savage can't hang on to it. Loses the ball over the touch-in goal line, and it'll be a 20-metre restart for the Newcastle Knights. 18 points to 12. I thought they were over there. It was a great flick pass, Tungy, but Savage just couldn't hold on to it.
Well, it was a Gidley flick up against Newcastle Knights, and he had the line wide open. That's a really big blunder there from Xavier Savage. He should be taking that, but some concerns there. Simi Sasangi, who's been out, he's had some trouble with his shoulder, maybe have some shoulder surgery at the post at the end of the season. He's just holding that, really favouring that, so the Newcastle Knights, an opportunity there just to play some footy at him, just to test that shoulder out.
It's looking a bit limp, that left arm, isn't it? As they defend on this right-hand side. Newcastle have the ball in the middle through Gagai. We'll get down to James Sullivan in just a moment, but Newcastle at the moment are 9 metres away from the halfway line. Getting up and playing the ball is McEwen. They come back to the left now through the hands of Crouch. Gets it away to Sharp. On it goes to Ponga. Ponga dummies, then loses the ball on the way through. Good defending once again. Sasangi looks like he's in a fair bit of pain there as he affects that tackle. He's high-fiving, but he's keeping that left arm really close to his body. It is a knock-on from Kalen Ponga. Canberra will get the scrum on the halfway line. Newcastle leading 18 points to 12. 7 minutes to go in the first half. Touchline, James Sullivan.
Yeah, you're right. He is holding that left shoulder, but it looks like a stinger, I think, at the moment. He's trying to get it moving. I'll tell you what, you can have your Ethans and you can have all your S's, boys. If I was a hairdresser or a barber, I'd have a field day with both of these sides.
I like it.
Oh, the Knights have got some fair haircuts, haven't they? The Fletchers in particular, Sharp and Hunt, as they come to the left now, and they had the ball through Matt Timokor, the Canberra Raiders, 5 metres inside Newcastle territory. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Apologies if I haven't been updating scores and things. I just realised that my computer's frozen, so I've been given a second laptop, and I'll get to the scores in just a moment and some texts as well as they go to the right-hand side. Papali is 30 metres away in centre field. Getting up and playing the ball for Paddy. Left-hand side shows and then gets it away to Sanders. Sanders to the line, then gets it away to Strange, and Strange is 20 away from the line, and he'll play the ball 10 in from the eastern touch line with 6 to go in the first half. They come to the right now. Here's Sanders back on the inside for Smithies, and Smithies is taking it towards the 10-metre line. He's 11 away and 15 in from the eastern touch line on the last. They come right. Sanders gets it away to Strange. On it goes now for Weeks. Kyo Weeks towards the line. Oh, great pass to Simi Sasangi. He'll go over with one wing and score the try. Sasangi puts the ball down old school, and it was Kyo Weeks who did really well there to get to the line, draw the defenders in, and somehow get the pass away. Sasangi didn't really need to do too much else. Scores the try, and they are back within 2 again, the Raiders. It's 18-16, 5.5 to go first half.
Yeah, they missed the opportunity before with Xavier Savage, but on this occasion, I tell you what, how good. We've got so many wonderful fullbacks in our game, but we're watching two of the best here this afternoon. Kalen Ponga, every time he touches the ball, it looks like something's going to happen. But at the other end of the field with Kyo Weeks, he's got speed. speed, he's got strength, he's got wonderful skill. It's all on display in that occasion there. He gets a little pass away to Simi Sasangi, who comes around and has that, the idea there, that mentality come around and just improve the position. But I tell you what, I think if he just limping to the half-time break there, just have a look at that shoulder. It doesn't look good, but he scores an important 4-pointer there. Soon to become 6, I think it's nice and close.
Yeah, well, they've got Dane Laurie and Sevilla Tamale on the bench. It'll be interesting to see which way they go. If Simi Sasangi can finish this one off, James Sullivan touchline.
Yeah, just a little highlight, boys. Just been told by Frank Barrett from the Newcastle Knights. On the back of Tyson Frizzell's jersey, his children have drawn pictures and they've got their names on the back. So I don't know if you can zoom in and have a look.
Well, I've got the binoculars out. He's in the ruck at the moment, but that's a wonderful touch from the Newcastle Knights and for his kids as well. It'll be a jersey that he'll frame, no doubt. And Ethan Sanders adds the extras to make it 18 apiece. 4 to go in the first half. 0467 920 Enjoying the call with so many S's. Just have a thought for Kenny Callender. He was calling the game. Kenny Callender from Shen Sushi. Can points be taken if a decision's wrong after a game, after review? No. Thank you for that. What a crock. Everybody knows Canberra's much colder than Hobart. Just check the average winter temperatures over the months of... Oh, this might be an AFL text. I think it is. Thank you very much for that one. Strange on report. Have we missed that one? Says Mitch.
Okay.
I didn't notice anything. Sully, did you notice if Ethan Strange had been put on report?
No, I didn't.
No. I'm not throwing you under the bus, but I don't think anyone's seen that one. So Mitch will find out more about that one. Appreciate that. Text message 0467 920 Here's Papali'i with first use of the football after Canberra's try to level things up at 18 apiece with 4 minutes to go in the first half. They're 23 metres away from their own goal line. They'll get up and play it through Morgan Smithies. They come to the right-hand side, one off the ruck, and Joe Roddy has it now, 30 away in centre field. He'll play the ball, and they come left out of dummy half short. Paddy gets it away to Hosking, and Hosking's 8 short of halfway, 20 in from the eastern touchline. Coming back open side, Smithies to Sanders, shows and gets it away to Weeks. Weeks bounces off a couple. He goes over the halfway line, and he's brought to ground 3 inside Newcastle's territory. Plays it 15 in from the western touchline now. They'll kick right on halfway through Sanders. It's another towering bomb. Ponga has to make up a fair bit of ground, takes it comfortably, and then gets the pass away to Young as Dom Young takes it back towards the 20-metre line. 3 to go in the first half, and it's 18 all, Tungy.
Yeah, I'm just looking once again, the kicking game of Ethan Sanders, super important on the occasions there. Look, it's good defence too. They're backing it up, getting down there, but it just, those torpedo bombs, those floaters, it just gives them an opportunity to get a set line on their backfield, which is so strong from the Newcastle Knights. There is one on report there from the Raiders, and I think it is Ethan Strange there. So we're going to look a bit further into that and give you the report.
Yeah, well done, Mitch. Appreciate that text message. And Tungy's done the investigations there as well. Marju 20 away from the line, 12 in from the western touchline. One off the ruck right-hand side. Manalele Ua is 29 away. Final play. Newcastle still deep in their own territory. They'll have to kick from just outside 20 through Sand and Smith. And it's a short kick. He sliced that one a little, so Stewart can start catching just outside the 40-metre line. And he's only 5 short of halfway with a full set here and 2 minutes 20 to go in the first half. They come right, Matt Timokor, into Newcastle's territory by a couple of metres. Centre field, waiting for a dummy half is Paddy. He'll come to the right. In fact, Strange went into dummy half there and gets it away to Kyo Weeks. Bounces off one. Good stuff from Kyo Weeks. Now Simi Sasangi tries to come back in, looks for support, and then he takes the tackle of Hunt and a couple of others. 11 in from the western touchline.
He couldn't even get his left arm up there to fend on that occasion. You could see he's really struggling with that left shoulder.
Yeah, he certainly is. Sanders, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him after half-time. Sanders loses the ball in the tackle and giving him a bit of what for afterwards. Lockie Crouch, as his teammates come and celebrate with Lachlan Crouch. They know that was important with Canberra early in the set, attacking Newcastle's half, 30 away from the line, and Newcastle will get the scrum. A minute and a half to go in the first half, 30 away from their own goal line.
Yeah, some really good defence and comes down. The ball comes free there on that occasion. So the Newcastle Knights will get one more shot here. Good set at the Raiders. Yes, they've got some field, haven't got the field position behind them, but the speed out wide, they'll certainly test it going into half-time.
Lockie, Aiden, Emily and Kate, thank you very much from the the Gold Country listening in. Appreciate your text message as well. And this text message says, yes, another couple of S's with Sandra Sully on the touchline as well to add to the mix. Left-hand side, one off the ruck is Crouch. And Crouch has the ball 8 short of the halfway line with just under a minute to go in the first half. He plays the ball and going right, one off the ruck, going into dummy half is Thomas Cant. Don't see him at dummy half very often, but looks like he's come on as a hooker there, Thomas Cant. Bridget Murphy, our Maitland expert, would know whether Thomas Cant played much hooker as a kid, and he is about 5 metres in from the Canberra territory as they come left-hand side. Sharpett's a decent ball there to Manalele Ua looking for a gap, but it was closed by the Canberra defence. Now when it goes, and Thomas Cant's got the ball in his hand, and he takes the tackle. It's a strong one as well from Mariotta, and he takes the tackle 10 inside Canberra territory. Has a bit of a laugh there as he plays the ball, Thomas Cant. A high kick up now. Waiting for it is Kyo Weeks. Goes without it. Does it go forward off Kyo Weeks? It does. And then Sanders grabs it from an offside position. It's a double knock on. No, it's not offside. It's a double knock on Kyo Weeks, but Newcastle lose it as well. The Knights want this scrum with a second to go before half-time. And they weren't packed. Yeah, they wanted it called off, but Ashley Klein's right. They weren't all packed in. They wanted that scrum with seconds left on the clock, but they couldn't get packed in time. So it is half-time at Canberra Stadium. It's been end-to-end, really. Newcastle led.
Tell me where you want it to start with, and then.
Yeah. There was a lot of process to get through. Kalen Ponga's arguing the point, but Ashley Klein's right. They weren't packed. So he's every right to blow full-time or half-time there. 18 points all after Newcastle led 12-0 early, Tony.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a seesaw, hasn't it, here this afternoon. Raiders up against the Knights in some slippery conditions. Yeah, so it has probably limited a little bit of the ball movement, but I still think there's plenty of points on the board in this first half. So both teams are still backing their great attributes, their speed out wide. It's been great just seeing in this last little bit, a little bit more involvement there. And I think with Paddy coming on, Sanders starting to get into his rhythm there, but Kyo Weeks is really starting to inject himself in the game for the Newcastle Knights. Their speed out wide has certainly been putting the Raiders on notice out wide. Kalen Ponga heavily involved in everything. Dom Young and Sharp doing a really good job in through the middle. So, but a lot of the possession, and in good field position, points have come on the back of that. So that discipline is going to be super important at the start of the game. Raiders just falling off way too many tackles. So that is a bit of a concern. But one of the issues that I really think, Simi Sasangi's been a handful, really, really good out wide. See how he comes and whether he can come back after this half-time break. But still, anybody's game, but it's been really good first 40 minutes.
James Sullivan on the touchline.
Yeah, I grabbed an answer for that question you asked about Tom Cantor, the hooker, and I spoke to one bloke who should know a fair bit about hooker, and Danny Badiris, and said, yes, he's had a crash course and done a few games.
Okay, a crash course in hooking. I tell you what, if you're going to get a crash course, Danny Badiris isn't a bad one to get a crash course off, that's for sure. Thank you very much for that update, Sully. Second half NRLW, the Dragons leading West's Tigers 12 points to 10. Flegg, Manly a bit like the first grade team. It was 24 all for a while there. Melbourne have won 40-24. And in the first half of the other game, the Dragons leading the Sharks 20 points to 6. Queensland Cup second half, Townsville thrashing South Logan 42-0. First half 6 all between Western Clydesdales and Tweed Seagulls. Third quarter in the AFL, Gold Coast leading GWS 41-25. Don't get the Sandra Sully bit. Hope others do. Me not bright at spelling. Also Cody PJC. Well, James Sullivan, Sully, Sandra Sully, of course, the wonderful newsreader who loves her footy as well. So that nickname is sticking. Thank you for that. Chilling and watching the footy go the Knights. Can't wait for the Dragons versus Sharks and to watch Nico Hines from Amazing Ali. Thank you for that one. 0467 920 222. Half-time here at Canberra Stadium, and it is locked at 18 points apiece with tries to Jed Stewart, Zach Hosking and Simi Sasangi for the Raiders. Ethan Sanders has kicked 3 from 3. And for Newcastle, Fletcher Sharp and Dom Young inside the first 10 minutes. Kalen Ponga picking up 1 in the 25th minute. Sandon Smith has 3 from 3. And as we mentioned that on report, Ethan Strange for the Canberra Raiders. Don't go anywhere because, of course, we've got the Sharks-Dragons game coming up next. We've got a preview from Andrew Luke Lewis and Ryan Hoffman on the other side of ABC News.
ABC News News. Hello, I'm Satyam Weinstein. The Greens are demanding Labor crack down on inducements as the government struggles to secure support for its proposed new gambling laws. Here's National Affairs correspondent Jane Norman.
Labor's proposing a partial ban on gambling ads, but it's under pressure to also include a crackdown on gambling inducements following explosive evidence aired at a two-day inquiry last week. Green Senator Sarah Hanson-Young says incentives offered to gamblers must be banned.
The gambling companies last week tried to tell me they were generosities. I mean, give me a friggin' break.
Minister Jenny McAllister told News 24 the Communications Minister is in talks with senators.
And she will have been paying attention to the evidence that was brought forward in the Senate committee over the last week.
At this stage, neither the Greens nor the Coalition back the bill.
The Transport Safety Bureau is calling for video footage after two planes nearly collided at Sydney Airport this morning. Victoria Pengilly has the story.
Transport investigators say Jetstar A320 en route to the Gold Coast was taxiing around 7 a.m. this morning when its flight crew observed a Qatar Airways Boeing under tow from an aircraft tug. Jetstar says its pilots were under instruction from air traffic control and were forced to brake quickly to avoid colliding. A crew member was injured and treated for a wrist injury. There was also damage to a connection between the Qatar plane nose gear and aircraft tug. It's bad timing for Air Services Australia, which says it's now reviewing the incident. On Saturday, 150 flights were delayed as a result of rostering issues. The Transport Safety Bureau is calling for any CCTV to be handed in to help with their investigation.
Aerial evacuations are being carried out to rescue people trapped by wildfires in Western Canada. The province of British Columbia has been placed under a state of emergency as more than 100 out-of-control fires force people to flee their homes. The Premier of British Columbia, David Eby, says homes and businesses have been destroyed.
If you are under an evacuation order, please leave immediately. These orders save lives. They allow wildfire crews and RCMP officers to focus their efforts where they are needed. Conditions are extremely dangerous and changing minute by minute. The fires are moving incredibly quickly.
Iran has issued new demands for the Strait of Hormuz to reopen amid continued negotiations with Oman over managing the key waterway. The new demands include the US agreeing to never threaten Iran again, a permanent end to the war, and compensation. Revolutionary Guard spokesperson Hussein Moabi says the strait will remain closed unless Tehran gets what it wants.
The enemy is compelled for the strait to be reopened, to accept Iran's conditions and refrain from interfering in the negotiations currently taking place between Iran, Oman and other countries. It must refrain from such interference and accept Iran's conditions.
A Queensland haematologist says drinking too much cow's milk has contributed to a rise in anemia in toddlers that could be life-threatening. Liz Gwynn explains.
Data shows the number of children with severe iron deficiency anemia who presented to the Queensland Children's Hospital's emergency department more than doubled in 5 years, from 39 in 2020 to 86 in 2025, while an ongoing study of about 10,000 Perth women and their babies found that by 3 years of age, more than half of children had low iron, 20% had very low iron, and more than 2% were classed as having severe iron deficiency anemia. Haematologist Sally Campbell says children under 5 shouldn't consume more than 500 mils or 2 cups of cow's milk a day because it can cause iron deficiency anemia, which can be life-threatening.
The football Diego Maradona used to score his infamous Hand of God goal for Argentina against England in the 1986 FIFA World Cup is set to be sold at auction in the US. The striker punched the ball past the English goalkeeper in the quarterfinals 40 years ago. Dan Emler from the Texas-based firm Heritage Auctions says it could fetch $10 million.
I think it's easily the most historic ball in the realm of soccer. The ball was kept by the head official from that match, and it stayed in his possession for several decades. And in recent years, it was sold to a private collector, and we are representing that collector here.
And Holly Campbell has taken first place in the women's in today's 14-kilometre city-to-surf race from Sydney CBD to Bondi Beach in 46 minutes and 35 seconds. For the men was Andy Buchanan. He finished in 40 minutes, 27 seconds. You're up to date with ABC News.
This August, Science Week is blooming around the ABC.
We're celebrating Australia's wildflowers.
Vote now. Get involved at abc.net.au/science.
The 2026 NRL Premiership.
It's Indigenous round.
They go left. Manulele Ua breaks the tackle. He's over the 40-30. He's got support. Fletcher Sharp, they won't catch him. He's going to score next to the post. What a run that is from Francis Manulele Ua. Plays the ball 5 short of the line. Graham dummies. Thinks about going himself. Gets the pass away. Croker now to Smith. Smith gets it away to Ponga. Ponga ball over the top for Dom Young to the corner and scores. Does really well to turn his body and get the ball down. Ball over the top. This will be intersected by Jet Stewart, and I'd say just about shut the gate. Greg Marju's on his toes trying to fly across. Stewart runs towards Marju to cut the angle down. Marju slips over, and now it's left to Matt Croker to do the chasing, and the big the big middle player won't get there. Jet Stewart races away and scores the try. Sanders changes direction. Tarpany through the middle, can't find a way through. 6 away from the line, gets a quick play the ball. Starling quickly out of dummy half, goes left, and they might get over here to Canberra Raiders. Is it Morgan? It's Zach Hosking scores the try. Too slow to get off Tyson Frizzell there. Maybe they wanted to give him a few congratulatory remarks as they go right, and Dom Young gets the pass from Dane Gagai back on the inside. Ponga, they'll go all the way and score here. They come right. Sanders gets it away to Strange. On it goes now for Weeks. Kyo Weeks towards the line. Oh, great pass to Simi Sasangi, who'll go over with one wing and score the try. Sasangi puts the ball down old school.
ABC Sport.
Indigenous round, recognising the contributions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to the game of rugby league.
Yes, welcome back to Canberra Stadium. 18 apiece between the Raiders and Newcastle. The first of 2 NRL games on ABC Sport this afternoon. Of course, NRLW this evening as well. Next, we're off to Cogra for the Southern Sydney derby between the Dragons and the Cronulla Sharks. Ryan Hoffman, Luke Lewis and Andrew Moore will be calling that one. Andrew, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, hopefully a good one, Glenn. With the derby, often it can be the case, regardless of position on the table, and this one brings great disparity. The Sharks 4th on 32 points, having won 9 of their last 10 games. St George Illawarra last on 10 points, only 2 wins all year and 17 defeats. For the Dragons winger, Setu 2 is out to the bench. In fact, he goes. Matt Fiinge will start in jersey number 19 on the wing. Damien Cook to the Dragons bench. Jacob Little to start in jersey 14. No changes to Cronulla Sutherland. They are 1 to 19. Referee today is Liam Kennedy with Wyatt Raymond in the bunker. It's overcast. It's cool. There's been some raindrops on and off throughout the afternoon, and currently in the NRLW, a fiercely contested game. 5 minutes to go. St George Illawarra 12, West Tigers 10. Luke Lewis will be alongside me. Louis, good afternoon to you once again. You mentioned before, having played in these derby games for the Sharks, that anything can happen. Is that what you're thinking today?
No, not today, but yes, I am with you. Look, normally I do say, it doesn't matter where you're sitting on the ladder in this game with the local derby, but I just feel like the Sharks are so honed in on their game at the moment. They're playing with such confidence. They're fully fit. They're ready to rock and roll. And I feel like the Dragons are still they're struggling. They're really trying to find, they don't know how they're playing. Sometimes they'll come up with some nice plays, but they're just in and out of games way too much. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And if you, here and now I should say, but if you do that with the Sharks today, they're going to make you pay. So I'm expecting a big score from the Sharkies.
Ryan Hoffman is here, former Melbourne Storm Premiership winner. Hoffy, good afternoon to you again. For the Dragons, do they have enough points in them to challenge a team that's playing as well as Cronulla is?
Yeah, that's the worry for the Dragons, whether or not they got their strike power. And obviously, something's going on with Setu too. He's their top try scorer, I think, this year, with him being on the bench. So, look, for them to be in with a show today, I think it's up to Moses Sully and Valentine Holmes. They're the ones that got to get over the top of their opposite numbers to create those opportunities for the wingers, and hopefully Clint Gutherson as well for the Dragons side. But Cronulla are just flexing too much muscle at the moment for mine.
Yeah, so have you been impressed with the Sharkies?
I really have, especially their last 3 performances. Nowadays, if you're conceding under 20 points, you're doing well. And their last 3 games, they've conceded 18, 12 and 16. So, and scoring a lot of points themselves. I used to think Cronulla could be a bit dour in the way they attack, but that's certainly changed coincide with the form of their halves.
And Louis, bearing in mind, I understand you're tipping a heavy Cronulla victory, but from a Dragons perspective, what needs to go right for them today to be in this at the end?
I think everything. They've got to play their best game of football this year. They've got to complete well. They've got a high completion rate. They can't give away field position. They can't be giving away silly penalties. If you give the Sharks a penalty coming out of their own end, I can nearly guarantee you they'll score against the Dragons' defence. So their defence has to be on.
So that's the final game of round 23 still to come. Estee, back to you at Canberra where it's a deadlock.
It certainly is, Andrew. Thank you. Yeah, 40 minutes to go. The Raiders and Newcastle 18 points apiece. Newcastle already out there waiting to kick off, and the Raiders just making their way back out onto Canberra Stadium now. So a really interesting second 40. Tries to Jed Stewart, Simi Sasungi and Zach Hosking for Canberra. Newcastle's tries to Kalen Ponga, Dom Young and Fletcher Sharp. Both goal kickers 3 from 3, Ethan Sanders and Sandon Smith. And speaking of Sanders and Sandon Smith, 0467920222. Tim in Toowoomba, great call. Your S's situation might lead you to sympathise with the English comedian Lee Mack. Asked what kind of a job his wife did. He said, well, it's quite hard to say. She sells seashells by the seashore. I remember that one. Yeah, he's a very funny man, Lee Mack. Appreciate that one. Tim, 0467920222. Thanks to Ruben in Brizzy as well. Love the call. Up the green machine as we're underway in the second half, and it is the Canberra Raiders with first use of the football over there on the far side. I think it's Big Papa who has the ball 12 away from the goal line. So get the binoculars out. It is Papali'i. Now they come left-hand side, one off the ruck. And they are 20 metres away from the goal line. That's a strong run there. Good post-contact metres once again. And Sasungi is still out there despite that left shoulder injury. We thought maybe we'd see a change at half-time. They've still got one interchange player up their sleeve, the Raiders, but he's still going at the moment as Mariotta plays the ball 30 away from the line, and Smithies finds himself 10 short of halfway, 20 in from the eastern touchline, gets up and plays the ball for Paddy. Left-hand side he comes for Papali'i, and Papali'i's 3 short of the halfway line. Final play, first out of the second half, all square, Raiders and Knights, 18 points apiece. ABC Sport Sunday, NRL Sunday. Great to have your company as the high kick goes down for Kalen Ponga, 10 away from his own goal line, and he sends Marju back into traffic, and he's met plenty of it as well. Smashed and dragged back as well, Marju. 13 away from the goal line. He'll play the ball, and they'll come open side, right one off the ruck for Fletcher Hunt. He's 20 away from his own goal line, centre field. Honga's going into dummy half now. Of course, no Phoenix Crossland this afternoon, so Harrison Graham started the game. We even saw Thomas Cant go into dummy half for a while there, but Graham is back on the park now, and he's in at dummy half. Sandon Smith gone into dummy half, actually. No, Graham's still not on the field, so still having a bit of a rest, and now Thomas Cant goes in there again. So Cant's 25 away from the line, passing to Frizzell, one off the ruck. Frizzell in game number 300 gets the offload away. Cant's backing up, and Thomas Cant is 5 short of the halfway line in centre field. Ponga's in at dummy half now. Sandon Smith's at first receiver, and Smith kicking downfield, down to Kyo Weeks, takes it comfortably 10 away from his own goal line. He'll return it back up over the 20 and bounce away from Dane Gagai before getting wrapped up. 27 away, 18 points apiece, 2 minutes gone, second half, Alan Tum.
Yeah, just looking at some key stats there at the half-time piece. Possession basically 50-50 in the end, where Newcastle really dominated that opening 20 minutes. Also in the game, the tackle breaks. At one point, we mentioned it was 13-1 of the Newcastle Knights. It actually ended up in favour for the Raiders, so shows how strong the back end of that half was for them at 17-16. So pretty even there for the meter readers in that first half. It was all the outside backs, 111 to Jed Stewart, 87 to Marju as they go wide now, the Green Machine.
Have an opportunity. Sasungi comes back on the inside because he was starting to run out of room, but he's taken in the tackle 9 inside the eastern touchline. They come open side left. Sanders will kick down towards that northeastern corner. Ponga goes up. He loses the ball. He might have been tackled in mid-air, and they're saying first knock on Xavier Savage, and it was the final play, so it's a handover. So double knock on. Xavier Savage was the player who got his hands to it first in mid-air. And Newcastle, is Newcastle challenging? Is Canberra?
From the Raiders.
Canberra's challenging.
To a decision of a knock on first off Xavier, then off.
So they're saying that maybe the first touch was off Kalen.
Yeah, At first thought, it did look like it came off Xavier Savage.
Brady's kick chase has been cleared as onside.
Okay, hands go up.
Or does Savage miss it? Oh, no, it's come off his right arm, hasn't it?
Yeah, but does it go backwards? That could be another question here. Is the football going backwards?
I mean, if his right arm is...
Hits the right arm of Xavier Savage. Just need direction. The ball travels now.
Yeah, look at that. It is great work, great effort there from Xavier Savage to put a contest on that football, which is good.
Well, this goes backwards because his arm is...
Xavier Savage's arm is in front of the ball. He hits it backwards into the right hand of Caleb Ponga, which is a knock-on. The captain's challenge is successful.
Okay.
I'm surprised with that because it looks like his arm is parallel to the goal line but facing back the other way, and it bounces back into his head and then goes forward. So unlucky there for the Canberra Raiders. And
no, they've got the footy here. The Raiders have.
Oh, they've said it has gone backwards. Challenge is successful.
Yep, that's right.
I thought I heard him say that it went into Caleb Ponga's hand and it constituted a knock-on, but he's saying it constituted a knock-on from Caleb Ponga.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, so Canberra get the scrum feed, 10 away from the goal line. Sasungi right-hand side. Still going. Simi, don't worry about one arm. He scored a double. What about the power there from Simi? Sasungi takes 3 defenders with him, scores a try. He's been limp on that left arm for most of the first half, but he gets the ball under the right arm and fires his way over the goal line. That's really strong work. First try of the second half, double to Simi Sasungi. They lead 22 points to 18, kick to come.
I tell you what, this guy, he is absolutely freakish. He couldn't, got a start there at the Newcastle Knights, but just couldn't get into the team. He's come down and really made Canberra his home there. Fantastic footwork, great skills and plenty of toughness, because I tell you what, he is wounded. He cannot lift that left arm. He can't fend with that left arm. On that occasion, he gets on the outside, perfect spot to get that left-hand fend. He can't even do that, but he still gets over the line with that speed and power and scores out wide. Really good play. Great challenge from the Raiders. Great kick chase there from Xavier Savage. Good start to the second half.
Yeah, really walking wounded because he missed that game against Penrith last week with the hamstring as well. So a few things for Simi Sasungi. Touchline James Sullivan.
Yeah, he's got a smile on his face. He hasn't got a left, but he's got a right. Just the halftime chat, Coach Justin Holbrook from the Knights said, come on, let's just start, continue the game the way we started it, and that's completing sets. And Ricky just wanted intensity in defence. That's all he said.
Loving the call, listening while driving from Newcastle to Texas in Queensland. Go the Green Machine from Ross and Wren. Thank you for that text message. Thank you to George. Thank you, Missy on the Mount. Thank you, Missy. All the best, Glenn, and thank you, Glenn, Alan, and Sully. Exciting Knights Raiders match. It certainly is. Grunter, Dicko, and Yelvo are listening to ABC Sport on the road for the South Dubbo Rotary Club Destination Outback, raising money for Outback communities near Thargomindah in Outback, Queensland. Loving the game. Thank you very much, guys, and great work raising money for those Outback communities at Thargomindah. Appreciate that one. 0467 920 222. Sanders is 5 metres in from the eastern touchline, steadying and taking his time.
Rain just a little bit heavier.
Yeah, it does look a bit heavier now, doesn't it? As Sanders moves in and strikes this one, and the touchies wave it away. So the first blot on the copybook for either goal kicker this afternoon. Sanders is 3 from 4 now. They lead 22 points to 18, the Canberra Raiders, after 4 minutes and 30-odd seconds in the second half. Around the grounds, full-time in the NRLW, the West Tigers have defeated the Dragons 16 points to 12. New South Wales Cup, the Roosters lead the Bulldogs 14-0 first half. First half, no score, North Sydney and Wests. And first half just about to get underway, Storm and Manly, no score. Second half in Flegg, St George Illawarra leading the Sharks 20 points to 6. And Townsville thrashing South Logan 66-6. Oh, more S's, 66-6 in the second half of Queensland Cup. And half-time, Western Clydesdale 16-10. AFL 55 apiece, GWS and Gold Coast in the third quarter. We are back here, play 2, Canberra Raiders, 18 metres away from their own goal line in the first set after points at 22 points to 18 with 5 gone in the second half. James Sullivan, Alan Tongue, Glenn Lauder, and it's the Raiders with Joe Roddy playing the ball 25 away from his own line. Right-hand side they go, and they have the ball now through Papali'i. Good, strong run from Papa. 9 short of the halfway line. Takes 3 players with him. Plays the ball. Comes left now. Smithy's dummies. Goes himself and takes the tackle on the halfway line with Fletcher Sharp in there, as is Thomas Cant. He'll play the ball 3 inside Newcastle's half. They go right for Sanders to kick on the last. It's a high one again. Chasers coming through. Marju takes it well in the wet, and he returns up over the 20-metre line to be met by 3 Raiders players. 21 away, Canberra 22, Newcastle 18.
Yeah, it's a really good set there from the Raiders after points. Some good, big, strong carry there from Papali'i, and he's coming back that up with some defensive work as well, the big man. But the Raiders, really good set after points, a good kick. Now the Newcastle Knights. What was really, excited me when they first started the game, there was a lot of short passes. It was really calculated, but it really getting one-on-one plays, and in these conditions, a little bit of footwork. That's all they needed to get those tackle breaks. A little bit of short passing. They need to get that back in their game.
Dom Young was just a little slow to get back to his feet, but he did so and played the ball, and they end up with Frizzell on the halfway line over on the eastern side. They come back open side right now through the hands of Smith and Ponga. Here's Gagai trying to get past a few. He's up over the 30. Jed Stewart has to go again and bring Gagai down, only 15 away from the line. He just kept going there, Dane Gagai. Left-hand side, final play. Smith will kick across field towards the posts. They all go up. There's players everywhere. It comes down with the Raiders. It's a knock on Newcastle. So Paddy, who took the ball just outside his own goal line, will be able to advance at about 9.5 metres, and they'll get the changeover 10 away from their own goal line. Kyo Weeks will take it. Touchline, James Sullivan.
I'll tell you one player, he's found a home on the bench, Josh Papali'i. He's been very good since he's come on. Also, Joe Roddy for the Raiders. I've been very impressed with him.
Yeah, hasn't played since round 9 against the Gold Coast, Joe Roddy. Only his 5th NRL game. Scored debut, of course, in that final round game against the Dolphins last year. And yeah, really big player, isn't he? The big fella from Tumut who's come through the Raiders system. Owen Paddy kicking out a dummy half inside 40. This might be a chance here as it skids along the wet ground, but Ponga makes up a lot of ground and gets there about 3 away from his own goal line. It just straightened as it bounced as well. It didn't take the bounce that Paddy was hoping to towards the touchline, and Ponga can play it on the 10-metre line. They come left-hand side, and now Dom Young. Incidentally, Joe Roddy, related to one of the very first ever Raiders, Frank, who played in the first team all the way back in 1982. They call him a second cousin of sorts. So I'm not quite sure how the relationship works, but Frank Roddy, Raider number 12, played in that very first game back in 1982. Here come the Newcastle Knights with the ball now through Crouch. 30 away from his own goal line, centre field. Canted dummy half, left-hand side for Sharp. Back on the inside, Manalele Ua. He's 9 short of the halfway line. Plays the ball. They come right now. And kicking on the run is Sandon Smith from just outside 40. Taken on the 10-metre line by Kyo Weeks. And he's back up over the 20. Good return from Kyo Weeks. He's over the 30 as well before taking the tackle 33 away from his own goal line. Left-hand side, one off the ruck they come. Xavier Savage goes back in towards the ruck traffic. And then he's held 13 away from the halfway line. 15 in from the eastern touchline. They come left-hand side now. And just skipping, trying to find a way through, but unable to do so. And getting taken about 8 away from the halfway line is Sasangi. The double try scorer this afternoon. Left-hand side for Strange. Back on the inside for Hosking. And Zach Hosking is 4 away from the halfway line. He'll get up and play the ball on 4. We've had 9 minutes in the second half. Just that one try to Sasangi. The Raiders 22, Newcastle 18. And it is Canberra with the ball 8 inside Newcastle territory through Papali'i. They come back left-hand side now, and Sanders at first receiver. Puts a high kick up in the air, and chasers are coming through. Ponga flies through the sky, and he axes himself there. That was a heavy landing. He looked like Superman, but he landed on his backside. I don't think Superman has that up his sleeve, as Greg Marshu now. He's okay, Kalen Ponga, and he goes into dummy. He was going to go into dummy half there for Marshu, but in the end, it is Thomas Kent who's back there again as they come to the right-hand side now. Dane Gagai has the ball, 23 away from the line. 23 in from the western touchline as well. Canted dummy half. Comes left. Waiting for it is out there now for the Newcastle Knights, Brodie Jones. So they've used all 4 of their interchange players, and Jones plays it. They come left-hand side for Frizzell, and Frizzell is 3 short of the halfway line. He'll play the ball, and they'll come back open side right for Sandon Smith. Kicking on the last. Downfield, centre as well. Kyo Weeks takes it just outside his own goal line, and he'll return this one up towards the 20-metre line where the chasers are waiting for him, but he skips past almost. It's a good tackle by McEwen. 23 away from the line. Canberra 22, Newcastle 18.
Yeah, both teams, probably their last couple of sets, they just haven't got enough structure or put too much on. They're playing very, very safety-first football at the moment, but I tell you what, every time Kyo Weeks touches that ball, you just think something is going, and they're holding on by their fingertips, the Newcastle Knights defenders. He looks like not so likely to make a break anytime soon.
Corey Horsburgh's back on the park now. He had the tape, the head taped up in the first half, but he's got no tape on now, and he takes the tackle 10 short of the halfway line centre field. Paddy changes direction out of dummy half and straight into the markers. That was a strong run and heavy collision as well there, and slow to get up and play the ball is Strange. He's winded, I think, there, Ethan Strange, as he plays the ball. Sanders kicks from first receiver. It's a midfield bomb. Ponga takes it 25 away from his own goal line, almost splits them, and he takes the tackle 12 short of the halfway line and 15 in from the eastern touchline. Fletcher Sharp scoots out of dummy half. He's almost at the halfway line, 2 inside his own territory. We've had 12 minutes in this second half. Canberra leading Newcastle 22-18. NRL Sunday, ABC Sport. James Sullivan, Alan Tongue, Glenn Lauder, good to be with you before we head off to Cogra for the Dragons and Cronulla Sharks. And then 6:15 kick-off this evening. It's the Roosters and Parramatta NRLW from Gosford. So plenty of rugby league to get you through this Sunday afternoon, wherever you're listening on local radio via the ABC Listen or via ABC Sport as well. 0467 920 222. It is Newcastle with the ball 25 away from Canberra's line, and straightening on the way through is Manu Le'Le'ua. He's brought to ground 27 away on the final play. They come open side right, one off the ruck. Smith will change direction and kick towards the corner. Weeks goes up for it, but he has his pocket picked by Fletcher. Hunt gets the pass backwards, unfortunately for Hunt and fortuitously for Canberra. It falls into the grateful arms of Corey Horsburgh, who takes the tackle 9 away from his own line with a 22 points to 18 lead.
Yeah, great kick, Jason. They're really backing it up defensively now, the Newcastle Knights. I think Ricky Stewart's going to have to look for an interchange player there with Josh Papali. He looks cooked at the moment. He's trying to do his best to stay there. Some big, heavy contact. Gagai, the man as well, but they're just winning that arm wrestle, the field position battle at the moment, Newcastle.
Gagai twice in a row just shoots out of the line. He whacked Zach Hosking first, and then on that second occasion, I think it was, did Hosking take back-to-back hit-ups? I think he did there. So Zach Hosking's got hit twice. Dane Gagai whacks him. Horsburgh plays the ball 27 away from the line. Sanders, the high spiralling kick again. Dom Young takes this one comfortably on his 30-metre line. Good kick from Sanders, but equally good take from Young, and he starts this set only 6 metres short of the halfway line now, Dom Young. So Newcastle maybe slightly getting this arm wrestle, but they're not doing much with the ball at the moment. Sharp looks to go through a gap. Still going, Fletcher Sharp. He gets past the Sungy, fell off. I reckon it's that one arm. Oh, Ponga loses the ball with the line almost open. Weeks picks it up from the backfield over the 30-metre line, but he has to stop in his tracks. He takes the tackle, gets up, goes again. No, they fell off him, and finally, Kyo Weeks, 13 away from halfway. Incredible stuff. You thought Ponga would go for all money, but he lost the ball with the line open. Only really Weeks anywhere near him, and now Canberra can attack 8 short of the halfway line, Tungy.
It was unbelievable. It's all been all over the shop here in the last couple of minutes as the ball gets flung out the back. A hand grenade goes into Alta Mariotta's hands, but it was Fletcher Sharp. Great tackle bust to get through on that occasion. The pass coming back on the inside. It was about half a metre too far in front of Caleb Ponga. He just couldn't hold it as Papali comes off. Dane Laurie onto the field.
Yeah, Laurie is on, so I wonder whether that might be part of the thinking. If Simi Sasungi can't continue, they know that Dane Laurie will be able to go into the centres at some point. At the moment, he's, of course, in the middle with Josh Papali'i off, and he takes his first hit-up of the game to be brought to ground 30 away from Newcastle's line in centre field. 25 to go. Canberra up by 4. Horsburgh towards the 20-metre line. Good pass away to Timokor. Gagai went on with the tackle afterwards, and he landed really awkwardly there, Horsburgh, but they still go here, Canberra. Ethan Strange gets the pass away as well. Laurie's out the back to pick it up on the bounce. Looks for support. Skids away himself, Dane Laurie. Takes the tackle 9 away, and they will come back for this penalty on Corey Horsburgh. Gagai got him. Yeah. Gagai's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet at the moment. He's come up with 2 big hits, and now he's...
Wait, what about through the process?
Now, I don't think it was a spear, but it didn't look good, Tungy.
Yeah, it didn't. Just it was in a dangerous position. He stayed down on the ground. You know, to the credit of Dane Gagai, he's come across and apologised straight away. It's one of those, you know, those little areas that, yes, I mean, he's big, he's powerful, he's falling. It is dangerous. He'll be on report for sure. Whether there's more to it, we'll just see.
I mean, the ball's gone as well. Dane Gagai might be in a bit of trouble here. No, he's on report. He's only on report. That's interesting. But yeah, you know, he's landed right on the back of his neck there. Touchline James Sullivan.
He has, and I think report's the right thing. To be fair, I've been waiting. I'm just waiting for 1 or 2 players to really open this game up, and I'll put the blowtorch on the 2 number 6s. Watch the rest of this clash.
Yeah, Ethan Strange hasn't had had a huge game, has he? Ethan Sanders has done really well for Canberra at halfback. He, incidentally, is taking the 2 now after missing that last conversion just to make it a 6-point ball game with a penalty tonguing.
Yeah, I think a lot of his individual plays with Ethan Strange has been really strong. He's carried the ball, he's got that big left foot step, and he's palming blokes off left, right and centre. He probably hasn't created too much for his outside men. The guy that looks most likely is Kyo Weeks, what he is doing, and Simi Sasangi. They're the ones that have been creating a little bit of havoc, not only themselves, but for those around them. So I think they'll continue to look to those strike weapons. You're right, you'd like to see a little bit more out of Ethan Strange there, but he's still doing reasonably good in these tough conditions.
Jake says, my son doesn't believe I can get a shout out. Please make it happen. There you go, Jake. You've proven your son wrong. 0467920222. Ethan Sanders, 15 in from the Western touchline. Gets it. 24 points to 18. Back to a 6-point ball game. Important 2 points for the Raiders there with 24 and a half to go. Around the grounds, full-time NRLW. The West Tigers defeating the Dragons 16-12. New South Wales Cup Roosters 14, Bulldogs 0. Norths leading Wests 6-0. And Melbourne leading Manly 4-0. Flegg, Dragons leading the Sharks 24-6. Queensland Cup, Townsville's defeated South Logan 66-6. Halftime, Western Clydesdales 22-10. Three-quarter time in the AFL, GWS trailing the Gold Coast 68-56. Horsburgh, the only player that looks better taped up, says Mad Dog. Thank you, Matt.
I like it.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Peter. Thanks to the Gear Steward. Appreciate that as well. And on the drive from Canberra back to Newcastle, loving the coverage up the Knights. You could have stayed a little bit longer and come to the game. A little bit wet this afternoon. Not too many fans in, probably around about the 10,000 mark. They're pretty well covered in the back of the 2 grandstands here as well. So the Canberra Raiders hoping to give them something to cheer for. They lead 6 points by 6 points at the moment, and of course, given their position on the ladder, they have to win every game to make the finals. So this is a good start for the Raiders.
Absolutely, and they need a few points to go their way as well with other teams. So everything is on the line at the moment. I think that 2 points going for goal, yes, it's to get that 6-point little advantage there, a converted try, but I think it's actually to settle it down a bit. It got a little bit helter-skelter there all over the shop. Some changes that have come onto the field. Just slow things down, get back into the rhythm.
Go to Horsburgh and then back on the inside. Sanders gets it away to Sasangi. In it, dummy half is Patty, and then the kick from Sanders just inside 40 is a deep one, and Ponga takes it on his own 10-metre line, or just in front, as Dom Young gets it up over the 20-metre line. Dom Young is pushed backwards by the chasing pack, and he'll play it 20 away from his own goal line. 23 minutes to go, and the Raiders are leading Newcastle 24 points to 18 in Tyson Frizzell's game 300 in the NRL. Here's Dom Young now for the Newcastle Knights, about 22 away from his own goal line. So, in fact, that's the hair of Greg Marju getting tackled there, 23 away from his own goal line. And strong run here from Brodie Jones. The legs go up in the air, but he doesn't go head first into the deck, and that's play on as Newcastle 30 away from their own goal line. Camp gets it away to Smith, to Ponga. Gagai quick hands to Dom Young with open space. He's got the speed. We know he's got the speed, and he's got the strength. He draws in Kyo Weeks, 15 away from the line. Sends Jermaine McEwen away.
Simi Sasangi
tackles Sasangi with one arm, 2 metres away from the line. Smith, left-hand side to Sharp. Gets it away, Gagai. Can they go coast to coast? Manolele Ua gets it away. Gagai backing up and scores. That is a really good try from the Newcastle Knights over 2 phases. They broke away down the right through Dom Young. Sasangi comes up with an amazing try-saver on Jermaine McEwen, but Canberra was still getting back, and Newcastle spun it quickly left-hand side. Gagai scores in the corner, and it's back to within a 2-point ball game with a kick to come, 24-22.
Yeah, I mentioned about that short passing from the Newcastle Knights. They did it early in the game on this occasion. Everything calculated, just got a little bit of space on the outside for Dom Young, and he uses it beautifully. And what a tackle from Simi Sasangi. He's come all the way from the right-hand side of the field to make it, and where do the Knights go? Straight to the position where he was. So really, really smart play by them. It goes on to that side there. Gagai heavily involved, gets that little pass back on the inside there to score out wide. We could be all locked up once again. Plenty of ball movement from the Newcastle Knights. Really good footy.
Just over a quarter of this one to go, and Joey Tarpany getting ready to come back on the field for the Raiders as well. Touchline, James Sullivan.
Yeah, good game awareness. Fletcher Sharp, he knew where he had to go. He knew Simi Sasangi had come across, so that spot was vacant on that left edge, and they were good enough to do it.
Sandon Smith is 3 or 4 metres inside that eastern touchline. He's 3 from 3 this afternoon. Ethan Sanders 3 from 4 with that penalty goal. 24 points to 22. Could we be all square? Newcastle know all about tight games this season, don't they? When you look at their last 4 wins, 1.2 points, 6.6 points, as Smith nails it from the touchline in the wet. Really important kick in the context of this game. And not only their last 4 wins by those margins, let's have a look at their last 3 losses. 1 point, 2 points, 2 points. Of course, those 4 wins before the Brisbane win last week. But yeah, 7 games, 1 point, 1 point, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 6 points, 6 points. And at the moment, we're locked up at 24 all. So, they really, really like close games at the moment, Newcastle, although I'm not sure Justin Holbrook's ticker would particularly like it. With a quarter of this game to go, 0467920222. There is also the fact that Sandra Sully is the Australian Estee Lauder. Thank you, Tayron, in Ebvale. I didn't know that, but appreciate that. Hey, team, nothing more I love than tuning into the calls to hear the footy while I drive Ubers. Great call and keep the time flying. Tom from the Gold Coast. Thank you, Tom. Mick from Grafton says, great call, fellas. Well done. Thank you, Mick. 20 metres away from the goal line, the Newcastle Knights after points with a quarter of this game to go and locked up at 24 points apiece. They come to the right-hand side and Thomas Cant takes it up over the 30 and he's brought to ground 32 away from his own goal line in centre field. Graham's back on the park. He's in at dummy half. He goes left for Fletcher Sharp. Changes direction for Fletcher Hunt. And Fletcher Hunt takes the tackle 7 short of halfway. Here's Tyson Frizzell slipping into the tackle 4 or 5 metres inside Canberra territory on the last. Graham comes right. Sandon Smith will kick on the Canberra Raiders 40-metre line. It's a high bomb, a shortish one, and Jed Stewart takes it 15 away from his own goal line, and he'll start this set about 19 away from his own line for the Raiders. 15 in from the western touchline with it all locked up at 24 all, 19 and a half to go.
Yeah, I really think that's the side that Newcastle Knights, they need to continue going to their right-hand side to Gagai and Dom Young out wide. I think Matt Timokori is looking really vulnerable for the Raiders' left edge defence there. They've been getting plenty of joy, the Knights.
Xavier Savage is 11 short of halfway. Patty at dummy half. Right-hand side, one off the ruck to Tarpany. Tarpany 5 metres inside his own territory as he gets up and plays the ball after the tackle of Frizzell. Left-hand side, one off the ruck comes Hosking. Hosking's 10 inside Newcastle territory. 20 in from the western touchline on the final play. So Sanders will kick 40 metres away from Newcastle's line. Ponga comes forward, waiting to take it under pressure from Stewart. But Stewart picks his pocket, gets it away to Strange, who loses the ball under pressure with the line open. It was Thomas Cant coming through and making the try saver there. I'm not sure whether Strange lost it or whether Cant got his hand in the way, but whatever happened, Thomas Cant has saved a try there. And Newcastle will come away from their own end at 24 points apiece and 18 and a half to go.
What a challenge it's been on this left-hand side. Dom Young's got the upper hand, but a couple of great catches there. Jed Stewart in particular leaps above him, which is no mean feat whatsoever. Gets the ball back, and then that little pass. But here we go. There's a crusher tackle here. Totally accidental there, but Alta Mariota, he's given it away, and the Newcastle Knights didn't. They need that.
Oh, coach killers, those ones, aren't they? With Canberra under with so much momentum, and Newcastle, that's on report as well for Alta Mariota for the crusher tackle on their own 20-metre line, Newcastle, and they get the piggyback. They'll start this set 10 short of the halfway line at 24 points apiece with just under 18 minutes to go. So Fletcher Hunt takes the tap, gets it away to Sharp, and now on it goes. 5 metres short of the halfway line is Trey Mooney getting up and playing the ball as they come open side right to Smith. Back on the inside, Tyson Frizzell is backing into traffic and taking the tackle 6 metres inside Canberra territory. Waiting for it at dummy half is Harrison Graham. Comes out at dummy half, goes right for Smith, and then on it goes. And 37 away from 37 away from Canberra's line is Jermaine McEwen. Graham coming back left-hand side now. Ponga to the line, then cuts out one, gets it away to Fletcher Sharp. No, there was obstruction. I was going to say the referee was... Oh, no, it's going to be a high shot. Yeah, I thought there might have been obstruction with the player running through Trey Mooney, but he's gone the penalty for the high shot there on Fletcher Sharp. So Newcastle, will they go for 2 here, 30 away, and take the lead at 24 points all?
Yeah, I think they might have. Just a loose arm there from Joe Tarpany. Yeah. There's nothing in it, but it has hit him high. And they're going here.
Joe Tarpany was just standing there. I thought they were waiting for him to ask a question, but he was just hanging around. I think he was waiting to find out what they were going to do. They are deciding to take the 2 points. Touchline, James Sullivan.
Yeah, just that loose arm from Tarpany, as you said. He just caught him on the wrong foot. And surely you're going to take the 2 points. Absolutely.
Nice, neat call, guys. Predicting Canberra's forwards legs will start running out of gas about now. Go the Knights. Rob Bags and Rack in Newcastle. Hi there. Appreciate this. Best wishes, Liz and family at Cronulla. I'm Glenn Lauder. Alan Tongue is alongside me, and James Sullivan. So thank you very, very much for your lovely text message, Liz. When is Hudson Young back? Ian from Bruley, not for a long time, unfortunately. He's ruptured his Achilles. He won't be back until, at the very least, the start of next season. What's that, 7 months away? Something like that. So a ruptured Achilles is a long process, unfortunately. So his season is done. Hey, team, are the Knights an actual premiership threat or just making up the 8? Stewie from Oakey Creek. Tonguey, I think they can be, particularly with the bye in the last week.
Yeah, I think
Dylan
so
Brown's
too.
gone for the season.
Yeah, that's right. That's really hurt them. You need your halves in particular, and Kalen Ponga to be playing their absolute best footy. I think these conditions actually don't suit the Newcastle Knights as much as they do the Raiders, so they just haven't been able to probably use as much ball movement as they would traditionally do. But when they get it right, I tell you what, they're hard to handle, and they've got speed out wide.
Sandon Smith from 33 out. He nails it. They lead by 2, the Newcastle Knights. 26-24, 15 and a half to go at Canberra Stadium. The first of 3 games, NRL and NRLW this afternoon on NRL Sunday, ABC Sport. Next to Cogra for the Dragons and the Sharks, and after that to Gosford for the Roosters and Parramatta NRLW. 0467 920 222. New South Wales Cup, Roosters 14, Bulldogs 6. North Sydney and Wests 6 all, and Melbourne and Manly 10-4 to the Storm. All of those games in the first half. Second half, Flegg, Dragons 24, Sharks 12. Three-quarter time in the AFL, Gold Coast 68, GWS 56, and in Queensland Cup, Western Clydesdales leading Tweed 30-16. Queensland Women's Premiership, Tweed leading Souths 4-0. As Newcastle have the ball after points, and Manulele Ua takes the hit up 20 away from his own goal line. We heard a texter saying, will the Raiders forwards run out of legs? Now Manulele Ua has stayed down, clutching his face. Everyone's running in. I don't think they're going to start a melee. Ash Klein is saying a head clash. Manulele Ua doesn't have any claret coming out of the eyebrow, but let's have a look at this replay. He absolutely fired into Dayton Laurie there.
Yeah, that's right, it is. It's a head clash there, but if he stays down like that, which he's entitled to do, absolutely, like, I think they'll have to look at HIA. He's got, whether it is cheekbone there.
No, they've given a thumbs up, but the independent doctor might still have a look at this one and decide that he may have to have an HIA with, 14 minutes 40 to go. If he has to go off, that'd be the end of the game for him, probably, wouldn't it? Because even though it's the time clock, like the actual clock, 15 minutes, if there's enough timeouts, he might get back on, but unlikely. He's still on the park at the moment, Manulele Ua. Left-hand side, they go through Cant, gets it away to Sharp. Now here's Ponga and Hunt, left-hand side, space for Fletcher Hunt. Over halfway, over the 40, over the 30, runs towards Weeks. He's got Sharp in support. Kyo Weeks does really well again. 2-on-1. He waited for Hunt to pass and then went straight across to Sharp. 10 away from the line. Right-hand side, Sandon Smith. Ponga gets the ball over the top for Dom Young. It bounces. Dom Young towards the line. He's got 2 in front of him. He gets past them. And I reckon he's got the ball down. The touch judge says yes. Ashley Klein is going upstairs. I reckon Dom Young might have got the ball down.
I have no try.
Okay, Ash Klein is saying no try.
I believe he loses possession into the Raiders player before he grounds it.
There we go. So he might have lost the ball into the Raiders player on his way through.
This will be a really big challenge here for Newcastle Knights. They've got up looking pretty confident. The Raiders and Corey Horsburgh was certain that he knocked the football on. I'll come back to this.
Break the contact from the Canberra players that's making a tackle.
He runs into Weeks and Jet Stewart does really well.
Maintains possession through the initial contact.
Okay.
Horsburgh comes over the top. I think this could be one of those ones where
he's still got his hand around the ball, hasn't lost.
Oh yeah, loses the ball. Yep. Great call from Ashley Klein and the touch judge.
I just want to make a mention of Kyo Weeks.
The ball's actually held up on the leg of the Canberra player.
Okay, it's held up. And he loses.
Why are they still looking at it? He loses the ball.
I think it may be where it gets restarted.
He loses control of the ball over the try line.
Yeah, it's in the goal.
We have a decision.
20 metre
so Canberra will get a 20-metre restart, yeah.
But Kyo Weeks, his positioning, they should have scored for all money down the other end of it, and he backed his speed and his decision-making there. He stops the try there. Then you should have seen he got on the bike and he was from one side of the field. He sprinted as fast as he could to make that tackle on Dom Young on the other side. Big play there from Kyle Weeks.
Yeah, massive. Xavier Savage has the ball 29 away from the line. He plays the ball. They go one off the ruck, short right-hand side. Ata Mariota is on the 40-metre line. The referee said held, but he was... I mean, how can you be held when you're still making forward ground? Like, why is Ash Klein calling held there when Mariota's still going forward? Anyway, they had the ball 10 short of the halfway line, and now there's a penalty for another crusher there on Harrison Graham, or against Harrison Graham. And Canberra will get the penalty 10 short of the halfway line.
Well, there's plenty of time, isn't there? And they'll kick deep here. They'll get into some good field position. Kaya Weeks, no doubt, the man to ignite something. Is it Simi Sasangi back on that right-hand side, who's had some good work for the Newcastle Knights? They really need to back their defensive principles here. They're 2 points in front. There's going to be plenty of twists and turns to go in this final 13 minutes, but the Raiders in good field position here.
Yeah, 27 away from Newcastle's line. They'll get up and play the ball and come left. Kaya Weeks is at first receiver. Tarpany's waiting for it. Joe Tarpany takes 3 Newcastle players to bring him down. 23 away from the line. 23 in from the western touchline. Here's Paddy scooting out of dummy half. Gets it away to Horsburgh. Corey Horsburgh takes the tackle 13 away from the line in centre field. That's a terrible play the ball from Corey Horsburgh. He's trying to rush that. Now, there was a Newcastle player, Thomas Cant, there, but Corey Horsburgh's just tried to rush that play the ball. If he doesn't try to rush it, they'll probably get the penalty because Thomas Cant was there, but Corey Horsburgh, as soon as he just tried to, oh no, there's not. Yeah, he puts it on Thomas Cant's leg.
Yes, ruck interference there. Like,
I think that's just a Corey Horsburgh mistake.
Yep, no, I agree with that.
Newcastle get the scrum feed, 13 away from the line. Touchline, James Sullivan.
Yeah, 100% a Corey Horsburgh mistake. Just tried to get up too quick.
Thanks for keeping me company as I reluctantly cleaning. I'll be in the good books when the Cheese and Kisses gets home. You certainly will. Oh, Newcastle lose the ball. Gagai after the scrum win. It's picked up by Strange. Ethan Strange is 11 away from the line, so Newcastle get the scrum and then give it straight back. 0 tackle for Canberra. Strange will play it. 10 away, 15 in from the western touchline. Paddy gets it away to Tarpany. They get 6 again. It was from 0, so it doesn't really matter, but that's 0 tackle. Tarpany plays the ball 8 away from the line. Horsburgh, they're down by 2. 26-24, 11 and a half to go. Horsburgh 6 away from the line. Left-hand side, Sanders goes to the line, gets it away to Strange, bashes away from one, still going Ethan Strange, goes back to the right. Here's Dane Laurie, steps on the right foot, going back left now, and Laurie takes the tackle, 13 away from the line. 2-point ball game. 11 to go. Sanders changes direction. Strong run towards the centre, Mariota. 8 away from the line, in front of the right-hand upright. They come right out of Paddy, shape to go left and then change direction. Changing direction again. Here now is Corey Horsburgh. Horsburgh towards the left-hand upright. He's about 6 metres short. He'll get up slowly and play the ball after that tackle in the centre of the park. Right-hand side, Paddy grubbing through his Sanders. Chasing his Sasangi. Ponga gets there first. Bats it over the dead ball line. Goal line dropout Newcastle. Simi Sasangi again with forcing Ponga to put it over the dead ball line. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, it's been great footy all round. Really good kick there from Sanders through Simi Sasangi. All the S's coming out here again, but then Kalen Ponga, really good work. He just had the calmness all about. He knew what was going on the whole time. Just bats it dead. They'll go short here, you would think, to try and get the footy back, but we'll see.
Tyson Frizzell hobbling over the dead ball line, going off the field. So drama for him in game 300. What a catch. Jed Stewart sliding in the wet. That was one of those ones that you do in the schoolyard on a wet day. It was a great catch sliding across. They start this set 20 away from the line, and that is a really strong run from Tarpany to take them within 10. They come left. Laurie at first receiver goes towards the line. He's 3 away. Can Newcastle hold them out? The Raiders are up and about at the moment. Paddy goes from dummy half, and I reckon he gets the ball down. No, Ash Klein is right there, and he says no. He's held up. Great goal line defending there to keep Paddy out. I think Matt Croker was in there.
Yeah.
It was Matt Croker, almost on his own. Ponga comes across in the end, but Matt Croker, one-on-one, just gets underneath him. Canberra still attacking the line now, though. It's played 4. Here's Tarpany, a metre short of the line. Final play for the Raiders. Left-hand side they come. Sanders bats it on and Strange loses it. He had to reach out, but it came off the fingertips, goes forward. Newcastle will get the ball 10 away from their goal line. They are celebrating. Matt Croker may have just about won the game for them, 26-24. There's still 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, still plenty of time there, but you can just see how important that defensive set was from the Newcastle Knights. They ran across like they just won the game, all high-fiving each other. They've got a big tough set here now. The Raiders really ripping. Look at the line speed here and the shot on Dom Young. They've done a really good job of limiting his metres coming out of the backfield, but an opportunity here for the Knights to get back in their rhythm, kick long.
Here's Dane Gagai, 15 away from the line. G'day to Mitch coming back from Louth Races, 0467920222. I wonder what that was, a straw,
stick, I think.
straw or a kebab stick came down in front of our commentary box. I thought it might have been a pen that Justin Holbrook had thrown in the box next door, but I don't think he would be throwing them at the moment. 26-24, his side leads. They have the ball right-hand side, one off the ruck goes Trey Mooney, and he takes the tackle 30 away from the line and 20 in from the western touch line. They play the ball for Graham. Graham comes left, Croker waiting for it. Through the hands of Sharp to Ponga, quickly out of the line with Sasangi, but Ponga gets away from him, still going over the 40, and Ponga will finally take this tackle 8 short of halfway. He'll get told to get back on the mark, I think, here by Ash Klein. He has to, yeah. He got about 4 extra metres there, Kalen Ponga, to be fair. There's a push and shove with the marker. And now he's going to play the ball pretty much exactly where he was anyway. He didn't go back anywhere. As Smith kicks from first receiver on the last, deep one as well. Taken by Weeks, 10 away from his own goal line. And Kyo Weeks will play the ball 25 away from his own line. 7:50 to go. Still a 2-point ball game, Tungy.
Yeah, it's so close here at the moment, but they've got a good defensive line set at the moment. The Raiders, still their big man, only just getting behind the football now. They need to get some shape on it. They can't just rely on individual play here to get them down the field.
Simi Sasangi now, 8 metres short of halfway against his former club. Plays the ball for the Raiders in centre field. 26-24, they trail. And now Owen Paddy is 5 metres inside Newcastle territory. 7:20 to go. Playing the ball, they come left. Here's Strange, gets it all the way to Timacor, and Timacor has Sandon Smith for company as he goes to ground. 3 inside the western touchline, 27 away from Newcastle's line. Strange is at dummy half, Sanders is at first receiver. He kicks on the 30-metre line. Ponga's there, but it's batted back by Hosking, landed on by Dane Gagai. Zach Hosking, I was going to say David Hosking then. Zach Hosking does really well to bat that back, but unfortunately for Canberra, Dane Gagai is there to pick it up. Now, Dane Gagai's not happy with Corey Horsburgh. Corey Horsburgh was holding onto his leg.
Let's go.
He will say that he was tangled up, and now there's still a push and shove. Horsburgh pushes. He's going to give away a penalty here, Corey Horsburgh.
Back here, both of you get in.
There we go.
Let's have a listen to Ash.
Alright, so you missed the high shot. I want you to play the ball. No, I didn't miss the high shot. You fell down. The contact is incidental, and that's the ruling. You've taken it out of my hands now. So the penalty's going against you.
Oh.
You need your hands for yourself.
It's going against Dane Gagai.
I told you to play the ball 4 times.
There you go.
There you go. Ash Klein is laying down the law.
He's given him 1 extra. I had to give 3 to my kids before this. So there you go.
So you've got one of them with you as well today. I'm looking to have Lola in the commentary box.
First warning.
So hang on, Ash is still going here.
Talk.
I think.
So Caleb is saying accidental or not. Ash actually said incidental, not accidental.
Because he's actually thrown a punch here potentially.
Horsburgh,
he could be going to the bin.
Horsburgh threw one.
Look, we're not going to talk and we're not going to argue this incident now, okay? The actions of you is striking, which is unacceptable. You are on report and you're in the...
There we go. They'll finish with 12, the Raiders. Corey Horsburgh on report and in the sin bin for striking Dane Gagai. They still get the penalty, the Raiders.
Now, I've got all the information now, mate. 30s against...
Oh, no, they've swapped it over. There we go. So the bunker...
Let's go, guys!
Corey Horsburgh whacks him across the face. So the bunker and Chris Butler has looked at all the vision and he's gone down to Ash Klein. As you heard Ash say, I've got all the vision now. Let's get down to the touchline, James Sullivan. It's all happening.
It is all happening, and I'll tell you what, the bench from the Newcastle Knights, they were frantic. They were saying, go upstairs, go upstairs.
Well, they certainly did, and ultimately, after giving away the penalty, Dane Gagai got the penalty, and he plays the ball 10 short of the halfway line. One off the ruck, left-hand side they go, and they have the ball through Cody Hopwood, who started this game in 15 in place of Tyson Frizzell, and he'll finish this game as well. As they go left-hand side, Sharp changes direction, back on the inside for Marju. You can hear the Raiders fans firing up now as well. 6 minutes to go, Newcastle 26, Canberra 24. The Raiders season is on the line here. Matt Croker, 5 metres inside Canberra territory. James Sullivan, Alan Tongue, Glenn Lauder, NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Great to have your company. Sandon Smith gets it away to Ponga. Ponga's brought to ground 35 away from Canberra's line. Final play for the Newcastle Knights. They're 15 in from the western touchline. Smith's at first receiver. Sandon goes to the skies. Kyo Weeks waiting for it, and he takes it well as the chase comes through and wraps him up 10 away from his own goal line with 5.5 to go. Canberra trailing by 2. They're 90 metres away as well as they flick it to the right-hand side, and Jed Stewart tries to get past a few. He takes the tackle 23 away from his own goal line. So they're going to have to start getting expansive now, Canberra, creating risks, which obviously makes it more likely to come up with errors. They have to be careful. Xavier Savage is 14 away from the halfway line. He'll play the ball. They'll come left. Through their hands it goes. It ends up with Strange, who slips over as he tries to change direction, and he takes the tackle 10 short of halfway of Jermaine McEwen. Playing the ball, one off the ruck, right-hand side, Joey Tarpany is held up in the tackle and then, not put to ground right on the halfway line. He plays it on the last. Paddy at dummy half goes right. Sanders puts the old spiral bomb up again. That is a big one. Ponga, once again, one knee, takes it cleanly. Excellent take, Kalen Ponga, on his own 20-metre line with 4.5 to go. Newcastle 26, Canberra 24.
Really great take. I mean, the pressure, the moment in the game, he actually had to take it basically sitting on his backside, and he had a 112-kilo beast in Arthur Mariota coming at him, only had eyes for his ribs, and he just takes it as cool and as calm as ever there. Really great work from Kalen Ponga.
Outstanding take. Here's Francis Manulele-Ua. He has the ball up over the halfway line, and he takes the tackle to inside Canberra territory. They come right now. Matt Croker gets it away to Smith. On it goes to Ponga. Here's Dom Young getting away from Stewart. Still going Dom Young, and he takes the day. Still going 30 metres away. Finally goes to ground after Hosking got down low. Last play for Newcastle. Smith kicks on the 30-metre line. Weeks is waiting for it once again. Sharp runs through. He makes contact. It goes backwards to Jed Stewart, who gets out of the in goal. He almost dived like he was scoring a try there to get out of the in goal, and he takes the tackle a metre away from the goal line. 3.5 to go. 2-point ball game. Newcastle will be desperate to keep Canberra down this end of the field. They're only 8 away from their own goal line. Tired bodies everywhere. This has been a real war of attrition in the second half in particular. In the rain in Canberra, it'll be a heavy track out there at the moment. Right-hand side goes Tarpany. Takes the ball heavily into the Newcastle defence and tackled 27 away from his line. It's Paddy at dummy half. It's Starling at first receiver. Gets it away to Sanders. On it goes now far side. Taking the tackle is Sasungi. Last play for Canberra. They are only 33 away from their own goal line. 3 minutes to go. They come back open side left. Sanders will kick. It's a short one from his own 30-metre line. Almost a chip over the top. Trying to catch Ponga off.
Hang about. Ethan was offside.
Ethan Strange was in front of the kicker, and it'll be a penalty to Newcastle. Right idea, but wrong execution. He was just trying to put that kick over the defensive line and short of Kalen Ponga, but they were too quick off the line.
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually Kyo Weeks, the man who maybe there was something in the tackle. He was trying to get a penalty there. I'm not too sure, but they had no momentum whatsoever, so it was a little bit of a kick and hope, and they nearly got that back. But the Newcastle Knights, they've got 2 minutes 38. They're going to try and slow this down as much as they can. Use this full set to slow the game down, as mentioned, as much as possible, and then try and turn that ball over in the corner there, really shorten up their defensive line.
Now the Raiders will still get at least one more set, depending on how slow Newcastle are here. Sharp gets it away to Trey Mooney. 37 away from the line. He takes the tackle. As you say, Tungy, it'll be ball under the jumper stuff here from Newcastle. Don't want to get to the end of this set, then maybe find touch from the kick to slow things down. Kalen Ponga slides into the tackle and takes it 10 inside Canberra territory with 2 minutes to go. Leading by 2 points. Thomas Cant at dummy half. One off the ruck, left-hand side. Cody Hopwood takes the tackle 33 away from Canberra's line. Cant goes left. Gets it away to Croker and Sharp. Sharp continues on. Manulele Ua, who was involved in the first try. Can he get the last? No, he's 8 metres short. He'll play the ball 8 in from the eastern touchline. They want to keep it down here now, Newcastle. Sharp gets it away to Thomas Cant. On it goes now. Still out the back, Sandon Smith. Draws a few defenders. Ball over the top. Dom Young one-on-one and scores. Good strength, Dom Young. That is... Goal line defence wasn't bad from Canberra. Xavier Savage did all he could along with Kyo Weeks, but just the man mountain that is Dom Young scores his second on his birthday. He will win it for his side. It is 30 points to 24 with a kick to come. The Raiders are shattered. They know that their season is over.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful work here for the Newcastle Knights. They're down a man. They get through on that outside. Lelele Ua, he has been on fire this afternoon. He's been so hard to handle. He gets good meters down that left-hand side. They shift it back to the right. They're short for all numbers, the Canberra Raiders, and finally the ball comes over the top from Smith. Dom Young had plenty of work to do, and Kyo Weeks, he threw absolutely everything he could at him. He's also got Tim McCaw, Jed Stewart around him, and somehow still gets the ball down. He is an absolute freak, this Englishman, this flying winger, the flying dreadlocks, and he scores another really important try for the Newcastle Knights that seals the game.
And he's level back up with Marju as well. 19 apiece in that race between him and his wing partner, touchline James Sullivan.
Yeah, well, the joy on the Newcastle bench that was right in front of me, the celebration led front and centre by the milestone man, Tyson Frizzell.
0467 920 222. Glen, us footy nerds are so lucky that you footy nerds love doing the call. Thank you, one and all. Sully's getting mobile. Derek and Ann from Howard in Queensland. Thanks for that text message. Listening to the call from Yo Lake Homestead, WA, Ann Beadle, Peter and Lynette. Cheers. Thank you, guys. Mark from Morayfield, thank you for your kind words. And Jeff in Sunshine and the Gear Steward as well. Thank you for your text messages as always. So Sandon Smith from the touchline. The clock is just restarted. 1:20 to go, but Sandon Smith will be taking all the time in the world here, and the referee will have to call time out again probably. The Raiders down behind the goals asking Ash Klein to call time off again, but Sandon Smith is in absolutely. Now he goes back to the ball to just straighten it up once again. This will be the lot. He's moving the kicking tee as well now, Sandon Smith. How long is this going to be allowed to go on by Ashley Klein? The clock is still ticking. He's got to call time out. Like, he can't let Sandon Smith do this for another minute. But he is. He's not calling time out yet. This is ridiculous from Ashley Klein. Like, Sandon Smith is just going, I'm just going to keep doing this until Ash Klein calls time out. Like, why wouldn't he? If he's not getting in any trouble, why doesn't he keep going? Like, he's like, I am not going to take this kick until Ashley Klein calls time out. Basically, that's what Sandon. He's going back to the ball now. He's fixing it up. He's fixing it up again. What is Ashley Klein doing? Like, call time out.
Oh dear. Oh no, he's doing it again. Ashley Klein, come on.
This has been, and now he calls time out with 16 seconds to go. Ashley Klein has taken over a minute there to call time out. And now Sandon Smith will line it up.
And take nothing away from Sandon Smith. He can do that.
Absolutely.
No dramas.
Yeah, absolutely. That was all on the referee there. Sandon Smith was just going to let him keep going. He didn't care. 30 points to 24. Smith from the touchline. 16 seconds to go. It's a shocker. It's across the face. He doesn't care about that either. He was just letting the clock wind down. There is 13 seconds to go. Canberra will try to get the kick off. Ashley Klein has called time out, of course, after the kick. 0467 920 222. I can say all over Red Rover so you don't get in trouble from Maury, says Mark from the Central Coast. Thank you very much for that one, Mark.
Now they've got to wait for the 30 seconds, so he's just holding them back now from kicking the footy. The Raiders are eager to do it. They've got 10 seconds still.
Yeah, 13 left on the game clock. Canberra will have to go short here and try to get the ball back because Newcastle will just obviously take the catch and let the 13 seconds elapse. So here is the high, short kickoff. It goes up. It's batted back by Canberra. They do have it. Arata Mariota. They have to keep it alive. 3 seconds. The siren will go in the background. Hosking goes left. Here comes Timokor. Timokor goes through. Gets the ball away to Jed Stewart. Back on the inside. Ponga's there. Kalen Ponga lands on the ball. Wins it for Newcastle, or wraps the game up for Newcastle anyway. I thought they might have found a way through it. A miracle there, the Raiders. They got the miracle in Mudgee last year. No miracle this afternoon.
Now, so what happens there is that when a try scored in the last 5 weeks, or time off, and then when we confirm the try, time back on, and they're entitled to the 1 minute 20 on the try.
There we go. So there's the explanation from Ash. They're entitled to 1 minute 20 from the time. Well, I think that's something the NRL might have to look at.
Absolutely.
If that's the case,
in
because
the final moments of the game.
That was bordering on have defeated Canberra 24. You heard the boos ringing out from the Raiders fans, probably at the referee without knowledge of that rule. Ricky Stewart is straight up the tunnel. He's filthy. Unfortunately for the Raiders, that is the end of their season. They won't be making the 8 from here. Alan Tongue, really disappointing way after getting back into the contest and having a lot of momentum in that second half as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed that second half. There was plenty of points in the first half, but still a few errors. But the second half, it became a real arm wrestle. You could feel the intensity from both sides. It just kept building and building. The Raiders got back in front, and then important tries there to Gagai, and then obviously that one to Dom Young at the back end in that corner there to just, get those Knights, entrenching them a little bit further into that top 8 at the moment, that 7th position. But I tell you what, with a couple of home games just around the corner, and as you mentioned, that bye to finish off the season, really, really important. But also in Tyson Frizzell's 300th game, you could see there was plenty of emotion from the Newcastle Knights, and then all of a sudden Corey Horsburgh, when he left the field, it was all pointing towards a Newcastle Knights win there, as Sully just having a look around.
Yeah, Frizz is right in front of him actually, and I don't think he's going to the TV. So let's get down to Sully now with the milestone man.
Well, I have got the milestone man. How good's that? Tyson Frizzell, number 58. Congratulations, mate, but also, more importantly, 2 points.
Yeah, mate, tough game, up and down game. Yeah, it's always tough coming down here, especially these conditions, and we always knew it was going to be a tough one. It always is against them with us and them. We're a bit of a rivalry there, but yeah, just excited for the boys. Right? We're down on troops, and we fought the whole way, and yeah, it's nice to get a win.
And personally, mate, how good's the back of your jumper? The kids drawing on it and their names and everything, but mate, it's a massive milestone for you personally.
Yeah, it is, mate. A lot of people helped me get here. It's not just off myself, but yeah, it's a nice milestone, but like I said, I'm just happy that we got a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, enjoy the moment, enjoy what comes to you. You've been an ornament of the game, and thanks for joining us on ABC Sport.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Sully. Congratulations to Tyson Frizzell. I don't think we'll have time for another interview. We've got to head to Shark Park in about a minute 50. Alan Tongue, let's have a look at how our ABC Player of the Year points rated. 3 points.
I went to the Knights fullback and captain in Kalen Ponga. Just a huge game. Some key moments that he came right into it there. Francis Menulele-Ua, I'm going to give him 2 points. I thought he was brilliant on that left edge, 152 metres. He was enormous for the Newcastle Knights. I gave 1 point to Kyo Weeks, who was just in everything for the Raiders. But a couple of special mentions. Simi Sasangi, I thought he was absolutely brilliant today. But also Dom Young. He was just, it's hard not to give him a point when he was, so dominant. A couple of tries and big metres as well. But that was my 3-2-1, and a really, strong performance here for the Newcastle Knights. You can just feel it meant so much to them.
Yeah, it certainly did. Newcastle, another win. That's back-to-back after that victory over the Brisbane Broncos last week. 5 tries to 4. Fletcher Sharp scoring the first one. Dom Young scored the second and the last to finish with a double. Tries as well to Kalen Ponga and Dane Gagai. Sandon Smith kicking 5 from 6 for the Canberra Raiders. Jed Stewart and Zach Hosking scoring before Simi Sasangi's double either side of half-time. Sanders kicking 4 from 5. Corey Horsburgh ended up in the sin bin and on report, as did Arata Mariota on report, as did Ethan Strange on report. report as well. And Dan Gagai was on report at the end there as well for Newcastle. So there was a fair bit for Ashley Klein to do this afternoon. Controversial scenes here at Canberra Stadium, but in the end, it was the Newcastle Knights 30 defeating the Canberra Raiders 24. Thank you, James Sullivan. Thank you, Tungy. I'll speak to you again in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for you listening at home. Andrew Moore, it is all yours after a 30 points to 24 victory over the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, plenty of excitement. Glenn, safe travels to you, mate. Thank you, Tungy, and Sully down there as well. What a weekend James Sullivan's had. Perth yesterday, Canberra today. After the Knights' 30-24 win over Canberra, we're here at Jubilee Stadium for St George Illawarra against Canberra in the NRLW, a very tightly fought contest. West Tigers scored in the very final minute. It was a dive over from dummy half by the West Tigers replacement hooker in Faith Manera. West ended up beating St George Illawarra 16 points to 12. And earlier in the NRLW in Canberra, the Raiders upset top of the table Brisbane 26-4. Later, the Sydney Roosters take on Parramatta at Central Coast Stadium in Gosford. You'll hear that right here on ABC Sport with Declan Byrne, Jada Taylor and also Dean Hallertau. Now here's St George Illawarra, bottom of the table. Winger Setu 2 to the bench. He's been one of the better players. Matt Fiinge gets the start in jersey number 19. Hooker Damien Cook to the bench and Jacob Little gets the start in jersey number 14. They're the only changes. No changes to Cronulla Sutherland. Big day for Nico Hines. He is 3 goals away from matching the all-time consecutive goals record held by Hazem El Masri at 35. Nico's kicked 32 in a row. I'm joined here by Luke Lewis and Ryan Hoffman. Bit of rain starting to fall here at Jubilee. Decent old crowd would be at 10,000-11,000. Playing service looks magnificent. Luke Lewis, good afternoon to you. The Derby used to love playing in these.
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon, boys. Great to be here. I can't wait for it too. What the crowd is actually starting to roll in. It's looking phenomenal out there at the moment. And it doesn't look too bad down there. It looks a little bit greasy, but Hoffy give us a bit of a rundown on that one. But the local derby, it's something that we always love to play in. It's a tough game, and it just comes down to whoever starts fast first, really. But I just watched on the sideline as well in the warm-up. There was no KL, which is a big loss for him, which is I think he's been outstanding for the Sharkies, and no Talakai come off the bench to add that little bit of impact. So that's a plus for the Dragons, but I feel like the Sharks have definitely got their game honed in.
Yeah, but you look at the bench for the Sharkies, you've still got Billy Burns and Oregon Kafusi and Tom Hazelton, who's been starting in recent times. Braden Hamlin-Welly. That formula is still there for them. As Louis mentioned, Ryan Hoffman very kindly off the bench for us today in Sydney with John Gibbs out of action temporarily. He's down there and the brolly is already up. Good afternoon to you, Hoffy. How is it down there?
Yeah, g'day, Maura. G'day, Louis. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. There is a bit of rain coming down. It's starting to get a bit heavier, but there isn't really a breeze to speak of. And I'm looking at the entrances above.